Yeah. Woke up late, missed the bus again. Coffee spilled on my only clean shirt, man. Sun's too bright, but I'm half asleep. Stumble through the rhythm of the street. Check my phone, got a message read. Don't be late, it's already said. Tie my shoes while I'm out the door. Same old song, but I've heard it before. Step to the left, step to the right. Catch that beat, everything's alright. Little bit wrong, little bit right. Still gonna dance through the day and just another day in the life. Oh yeah, skanking through the trouble, don't care. Got that upstroke feel in the air. Let it bounce, let it take me there. Just another day in the life. Sun goes down, but the moon stays bright. Every little thing gonna be just fine when the rhythm hits on the offbeat time. Woo!
That was an exceptional fade out, I must say.
That was good, man.
It's a good one.
That was a good one.
Just another day in the life. You check
Right?
me out, Spotify, Nardo, I.
You got that beat too, man. Remember that beat you made? That I couldn't stop listening to that thing. That was like last summer too. You and Pops put that together one day on the couch. It's crazy. We got to dig that thing up one day. We got to go find that.
Hold on, I'm having problems with hearing Mikey now, of course.
Oh no, I muted myself somehow.
Did you?
Can you hear me now? Yeah, I don't know how
Welcome
that
back.
happened.
You got another song? That was great,
now.
man. That was fantastic.
Yeah, it's a Nardo 3 special.
Nardo 3 special, yeah, there's a few good ones.
I like
on
that
there.
other song he's got too. That what was that?
I mean, I'm starting to think that's a theme song, "The Day in the Life." I kind of like it. You know?
Day in the
That was
life,
a good
bro.
song, man.
Just
Yeah,
that other
day
song.
in the life,
Remember that
alright.
song? Never Gonna Be the Same, man. That song was
yeah,
great.
that
And you
was a good
sang
one.
that. That had nothing to do with nothing. Like that was just you created that
Well, we were
song.
working
was,
on that.
Yeah.
And, like, I kind of like finished it with the AI a little bit because we were
Yeah.
having trouble like dropping into a chord. That's what I love about the AI is that it becomes a tool and you could manipulate it. It's not like
How
you're
you
stuck
use
with the
it,
one
right?
version. You know, you just sit there and prompt it. You can make it anything that you want.
That thing's amazing, this Suno. I mean, I'm writing like anything I could dream of, I could write. Like I'm
Yeah, if
literally
you're dreaming,
I'm like,
put it out there.
I mean, I'm writing operas. I don't even know. I don't know, man. Anything you want, anything. It's insane. Country music,
You can literally
rap
change
music.
every aspect of it,
Yeah.
from soup to nuts. Like, and then if you go expand into like the higher levels of like the subscriptions, like you get even more shit. Me, I got like the most basic one, and I'm still getting good material. That's because I do write like structured music already and mess around in GarageBand. So like I have an idea of how to also talk to AI. So I don't know if some normal, like the normal guy, would get the same things as.
I don't think they would.
No.
I don't think they would, because
Like, it's very
he's
important to
actually
structure the song.
he's putting like an audio. You could put an audio file in this. It's called Suno AI. That's the one we use, and you could put an audio file in there, and it'll take it in and then base the song on that. So like, I think that's why you get a lot of unique stuff. That like, if somebody just put in, give me a blues song, it's not going to sound like yours because you actually like structured it before you put it in there. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, well, I make it in GarageBand with the beats. I get like a nice drum beat going. I'll try and find like a guitar, nice little verse and a chorus that I like. And they even sometimes have bridges if you work it. And I've been getting better with cutting it in and out, you know, and like listening to the beats and trying to go slower and faster. You know, you get better at it. And even like when you listen to regular music on the radio, you could start to listen where they're going into the chorus or they're building up on the, you know, just these little things that like I never learned until I started messing with this. But you said it the best one day is that I talk to it with computer, you know, it like
right.
with electronic beats already made, you know, and obviously in my own way. But then I'm not really, the only thing I'm prompting it is the BPM, the key, the frequency that now we've been messing with, you know, and you know, with those levels. there's a couple of bars at the bottom that like put it into style and weirdness. And I fucked it up the other day. I messed with it. My material hasn't been the same, but so whatever, but it's so cool, with us as musicians too. Like a lot of people are against AI, and it's kind of like an extension of like our creativity in like a different way, and I feel like it makes me way smarter. Like I'm trying to like embrace it more, not like depend on it, but embrace it as like an extension of my brain, and it makes you pretty smart because the information that you could obtain like instantaneously is nuts.
Reminds me of when I was a kid. They had the Jetsons, and they all had a robot in their house named Josie, and they
Right,
were
I
all
remember
flying
that.
around in
Yeah.
little jets, right? You say,
Yeah.
we get older, it'll be there. Nobody's flying around in jets yet. But the
You
little
got the
robot
robot.
is coming.
Yeah, the robots are coming, it looks like, but
That's for
not the jet. I
sure.
still want my
But
jet,
like little
I think,
discs, little
Yeah, man.
drones.
yeah.
Maybe it's in our future. Who knows?
Druber.
They always tell you, right, what's coming, kind of.
Hmm.
Well, that bridges us into where did we leave off last time? With we were
Yeah, so
talking
we're
about
trying
the
to
Christ
finish
letters.
these letters. Let me see. I'll get it up here. Oh, not that. These. There it is. So I don't know exactly. Let me get the banner off there. Yeah, get that off there. So I think it was this page. I think it was 17. I mean, that's a good number. It might have been 18.
17.
Yeah, I think you're at the top. Nah, we did 18.
We were at
Right?
8.
We stopped somewhere around in 18.
I think you're right.
Yeah, I think
And this letter is 20. It's about 26 pages long. So we really could finish it tonight. It would be nice to finally put letter 1 away. If you guys missed any of the other episodes, go on our got YouTube, Mike Motorbike 35. We got X. You can probably find it on there on Mike Motorbike. We got Rumble, Lenv77 on Rumble. Getter, Lenv77 on Getter, and I think that's it, right? I'm trying to think.
Yep.
What else
And
I'm pretty
Marta,
sure
the
we're
great.
at the top of page 19. I think that's where we're at.
I'm pretty sure we didn't. I know it was 18,
18?
but
All right.
yeah,
Me,
I don't
I'm
think we
just
got
sitting
that
in
far.
on this. I missed a lot of material, but I started this off with you guys.
Yeah,
So maybe you want to start at 18 then, or 17. I don't know. Whatever you feel. Wherever you would start.
I want to mention this. Well, I'll go to this one thing on 17. It's the bold, which we always said that's the important part, right?
Yep.
And I want to, it says, from birth to death, people believe and insist that their 5 senses of sight, hearing, touch, smell, and taste correctly predicate the reality of themselves and the universe around them. Therefore, because they draw their mind power direct from divine creative power, it is done to them according to their beliefs. So if you actually believe that that's the only way that you actually, that the universe exists, then you will have that reality. When it's actually deeper than that, it's there's more than just your 5 senses, and also it reiterates the point that we're creating our own misery by our thoughts. So worrying about things actually brings the thing that you're worrying onto yourself. In this, so anybody want to comment on that or just?
You ever play GTA?
Yeah, of course.
Right, and like if you like take a car in the game, and all of a sudden while you're driving it around, you start seeing those cars everywhere. That's kind of like happening to me now that I bought a truck. I'm starting to see my truck everywhere, so it's kind of like it brought it into my reality. So now I'm like starting to notice it. But it also happens in your mind. The things that you're thinking about, in your mind start to appear. Like I was talking to my mom. I was like, "Oh, how's Linda doing?" She's like, "Oh, Linda hasn't been at bowling in weeks." And then that night she went to bowling, and Linda appears. It's like, it's like you're almost speaking things into existence in a way, and you can if you believe it. It's happening to me. Yeah.
Wild. I've been calling that synchronicities, where you see things before. It can either be that you're manifesting them or you're actually seeing them before they happen. Either way, you could go with it. In this line of
like
thought,
a little sign or something.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. So it said here at the bottom of this page, I'll jump around because then we'll go right to 18. With this vision, I learned the most valuable aspect of existence. Man himself is born with all the potential to make a beautiful life for himself, but he himself, by indulging in his selfish desires and hatreds, creates a prison of misery for himself from which there is no escape until such times as he realizes the truth of existence. So selfish desires, again, a big theme here is to not be self-centered, not self-willed, not ego driven, and not have hatred, because what you do unto others is what's done unto you. And it's not just some like fancy saying that everybody likes to say. It's actually the truth of existence, that if you want good done on you, you do it to other people, and then it'll be done on you. If you do bad onto other people, you do it onto you. And there's also a belief that we're all connected. So when you do something to another person, you're actually doing it to yourself in a way, because we're all sharing one consciousness. If that, that's a big theme as well. So all the problems of harsh existence lay within the thought processes of man himself. Only people's consciousness forms, their thoughts, words, feelings, actions create a dense barrier between their consciousness and the universal creative consciousness, interpenetrating the universe in every leaf, tree, insect, bird, animal, and human being. And there's some nice trees, leaves in the backyard right there, Nardo. All right. I was shown the laws of existence controlling the human ability to create new circumstances and environment, relationships, achievement or failure, prosperity or poverty. Whatever a man profoundly believes himself to be, good or bad, that he will become. Whatever man fears others will do to him, so they will do. Whatever man hopes that others will do to him, he must first do to them, since he is then creating a consciousness pattern which will return to bless him to the extent he has blessed others. That's pretty much what I was just saying. So this is something we could put into practice and see if it actually works. Like everybody watching, whatever you want people to, whatever you hope that others will do to you, do it to others. That's a creative process you're doing. You're actually invoking it. So it's not just hoping and dreaming for it. It's also putting action to it. And then you're actually like doing the process of creation. And the opposite is true for fears. If you constantly fear something's going to happen to you, it will most likely happen eventually. So have a good self image of yourself. Believe that you're a good person, and try not to feed fear often. Try to not be, use your faith over fear. I always say faith over fear. The more you believe in a higher power, the more you have nothing to fear. And then do unto others, do an action, and then and then you're going to put that out there to be done to you.
That's right. Yeah, that's pretty. Yep.
Positive karma.
Right, exactly. And that's the thing. You're going to notice that like religions from all over the world will start converging into common things. Like karma is what? That's Hinduism, I think. I'm not sure.
I'm not exactly sure.
I think it is.
It's not Buddhism?
It might be. I know it's an Eastern religion with the karma.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure. But I do believe that. I mean, at some level, all these religions like arc into one. So, I don't know. I think I've explained it to you with like the way rumors get spread in high school. You tell somebody one thing, and by the time it gets to the last person, it's a totally and completely different story. A lot of these things all line up, but you have thousands and thousands of years of gaps of these stories being told, and by the time it gets down to the bottom, I think we're getting the bare minimum, and then you stumble upon stuff like this, which very well may be the whole truth. It's crazy. Mm-hmm. Pretty wild. These things appear when they're needed the most, and this is good stuff to like conquer self, which is the whole battle here in the material world, if you think about it. the less you detach from here, the easier everything becomes. Like if I don't have all this emotion, all this burden on my shoulder about what goes on here, obviously, I don't know. I feel like you feel less of those things because it's taken care of. Like you don't even acknowledge it. It doesn't exist anymore.
Right.
New
Yeah.
things exist in your reality. Love.
Yeah, if you don't feed into it, it doesn't exist. That's a great way to put it. I mean, all the worries we have. I mean, yeah, they're still there in a way, but if you don't feed them and you focus on what you don't let it overcome you with like depression and you're fearing everything. And that I think living in the present's a big part of that too. Because if you're always thinking about what's going to happen in the future, you're going to be anxious about it. Like just live in the moment that you're in now and try to put this into practice where you do unto others. Like if you're really hoping that people will be generous to you, be generous to other people, or whatever you want to be done to you, and look for those opportunities to do something nice for somebody else and to be there for them when they need somebody. So when you need somebody, they'll be there for you. But it's more than just being nice to people. You're actually putting, this is believing that you have a power of creativity, beyond just being nice. Okay, so where did I leave off? Okay, whatever disease man
Mike,
dreads. Yeah.
Just before you take off, give me the page and where is what page? Because I was just listening to what you were saying before. Now I want to read it with you.
Yeah, page 18. I'm at the top. It's got believes, fears, hopes are like highlighted at the top there.
Yep, that's where I'm at. Okay, good.
And I'm on the dreads part. Whatever disease man dreads, so he will become prey to it, for he will have created a consciousness pattern of the very thing he least wants to experience. So even though you're like dreading it, you're actually you're making a consciousness pattern. And again, this is like the terms we got to get used to. We're creating something. Thoughts are actually creation. We thought they're just passing moments, passing thoughts in your head. When you feed into these things like dread is you're focusing on it. It's not like you just had a bad thought and you let it pass. This is you're dreading. Oh, I don't want to get this disease. Oh, I don't want this to happen to me. And you're actually creating that to happen on you because the universe doesn't understand not. That's I think we did that last episode on the Sunday show. There was we were talking about your thoughts determine your reality. And we were saying like, you can't say, if you're planting a garden, don't say you anything. I don't want weeds. No, not weeds. When you say not weeds, you get weeds. So you plant roses. You plant roses, you water roses, and don't even think about the weeds. And this would be like dreading the weeds. Whatever is sent forth from a man's from man's mind and heart returns to him in due course in some form or another. But remember that like always breeds like. Strongly emotional thoughts are consciousness seeds planted within a man's own orbit of consciousness. These will grow, bearing a like harvest for his reaping. These are the fruits of free will. There is no way that man may escape what he thinks, says, or does, for he is born of the divine creative consciousness power and is likewise creative in his own imagining. Okay? Those who long for good, those who long for good for themselves must first give it to others. Let their very existence be a blessing to others. When such people
Can we talk about that for a second? I don't mean to cut you off.
No, like, stop me anytime. Jump in anytime.
You're taught to not even you're not even able to conceptualize that, and it's very hard for me to conceptualize that, to like break through it. Not that I can't imagine the most beautiful thing in the world, like I don't know.
Like what? Explain what you're having trouble with. Maybe we could work through it.
Hold on. Where is it? Reread what you just read about that. The dreads.
The dreads? Okay. Whatever disease man dreads, so will he become prey to it. For he will have created a consciousness pattern of the very thing he least wants to experience.
Yeah, well, the people who are in control that are dreaming like that are doing that. Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like I'm a victim of that dread that somebody had, and then they cast it upon us. Like, I can't stop it. Like, this spray in my sky crap drives me absolutely out of my mind. But what am I going to do? I mean, I can't jump into the air and stop this guy. I mean, it's everywhere. It's all over.
Here's
You know, and
the
I didn't ask for this. It just came, but that was, I guess, somebody else's dread, and they just, consent went out the damn window or something. And I don't know. It is a little tough to deal with some of this stuff. Like, I didn't, but I guess somebody, like, as the collective, I guess, like, enough people put that crap into the system and buy it, and then away it goes. Like, if everybody would just shut that kind of shit down, yeah, it would work. I don't know. I get
Nah,
lost in
I
some of
think what
this
I
too.
read, I think what I read is kind of like what the church says, but the way I interpreted it at the time was different than what I'm reading now. It says there is no way that man may escape what he thinks, says, or does, for he is born divine of the divine creative consciousness power and is likewise creative in his image. Like, is that telling me that I'm the same? Like, the church don't teach you that. It teaches that God is above you. This thing is telling me that I am the same as the creative intelligence, divine creative consciousness.
So well, okay, so that's saying a lot. So what this is saying is you have creative power. You were created in the likeness of God. So you have creative power that you were not aware of. So what this is saying is you have to be mindful of what you think, say, and do, because when you do it, you are actually creating a pattern in the ether that will return to you. And you were never taught this. Now, you were taught do unto others as you would want done to you, but you were taught that almost like hey, be nice to people and they'll be nice to you. But this is way beyond just that. This is saying you actually have creative power and you are creating things to yourself based on what you did to others.
I'm having trouble breaking that. Like, it's basically saying that we're level headed. Like, I've
with God.
Thought, yeah, I mean, is that what it's?
So you have God. So we are less than God. This isn't saying that you're God.
Well, that's what I believe, is that the source or Father or whatever you want to call it.
But you have, according to this kind of belief, you have the ability to remove your ego and to allow divine consciousness through you. Or in other teachings, like in the Gnostic Christianity teachings, they're saying that you actually have a seed of the source inside of you. You have a light inside of you that is covered by all this self-willed action. And once you finally start living like, not that you're the center of the universe, you actually have an ability to tap into this. Now, as you are not in that power, you actually are not going in the flow of the divine consciousness. And it's hard to explain this, but you actually have the ability to create bad things for yourself at this point, because you are not in line. You are still creating things, but you're creating a negative effect on yourself. Like if you go out and you go steal from somebody, you're creating that pattern to be stolen from.
I've lived that pattern.
Right.
And
so
you just do hard things, and whatever comes at you, like, it's just twice the size and worse,
You can have a negative harvest, and it seems like we've had that in the past by living the way we were, where we were self-centered. Me as well.
Yeah.
So I could see now that I'm stopping doing that I'm working on this stuff daily. I'm not getting that return negative anymore. And that in itself is a huge accomplishment. You know what I mean? And then if you get to even a better level, you could actually use this for helping other people. Lenny, do you want to say something?
Which one?
Lenv77.
I'm just listening to you guys. You guys are doing a great job.
I thought I heard you say something.
No, no, I'm following along, waiting for the next verse or whatever, next
Yeah.
paragraph.
No,
And
but
then
you
go with
brought
it.
up an important point, Nardo. Like that is something that's going to give people a little bit of cognitive dissonance. That this is saying that you have divine power. By the way, this is saying that, but you are not the source. But you actually are manifesting negative and positive outcomes for yourself based on what you think, say, and do. So, and it's a lot to take in, and it's a lot of responsibility. Now you can't blame everybody else. You can't blame the government. You can't blame that guy that was mean to you on the expressway. You now have to look in the mirror. You now have to look at yourself and say, man, like, am I treating people like that? Like, do I have that same behavior as the person that did that to me? It gives you this self-responsibility that could change your life, for the better, because now you're not just doing unto others as you'd want unto you just to be nice, or when nobody's looking, or when somebody's looking. You're doing it all the time because you realize how important what you think, say, and do is,
No, I do. I mean, I'm trying to curse less. It's very hard, I must say. Especially
Yeah.
when all three of us are together. Like,
Yeah.
But I noticed that the more I practice my spirituality, the more natural it just occurs. And when I do curse, it actually feels wrong. Because I've put that into my consciousness now. Like, hey, try to stop cursing. And especially now that we got little kids around and stuff too. Like, shouldn't be talking like that around them. I mean, I know we get a little carried away and excited when we're around.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's important for the kids too. Like, you want to be a good example for them too. You'd be surprised how much it damages the kids when you're angry all the time. If you're mad all the time, that they'll pick up on more than you realize. So that's important. All right, so I'll keep going. So again, stop me at any time you guys got something or something that you want to focus on. But creative consciousness power is likewise creative in his imagining. Imagining. Those who long for good for themselves must first give it to others. Let their very existence be a blessing to others. When such people are in harmony with all others, they are then perfectly attuned to the universal creative consciousness power, and that's powerful. If you're in tune with the divine consciousness, that means that you're living completely not in a self-willed way. You're thinking of the better of others, and things. That's when you have more ability than you normally do, and they are brought into the flow of the Father nature, which is growth, protection, nourishment, physical, mental, and spiritual healing, fulfillment of need within a system of law and order. So those are all the laws that we went over before. Those are the flow of the Father. That was what we did last time. How can I describe for you my inner glow, my transcendent brightness and brilliance of joy, and powerful feelings of love, which possessed and inflated my entire being with their intensity until I cried out with the pressure within my mind and heart. It was so powerful, it seemed it would entirely dissolve my bodily form. As I received all this supreme sublime understanding of the reality, our source of being, and the true nature of creation itself and of mankind, I was uplifted in spirit and my body and became light as air. At that time, when I was thus elevated within the divine creative power itself, I was indeed almost a divine person myself. So he's talking about it. This is Jesus when he reached this epiphany. Experiencing a high degree of the nature of the Father creative power within me and feeling its own drive and caring concern for all humanity. Therefore, I could later say with truth, only I know and have seen the Father. In that moment, how I yearned to teach, heal, comfort, uplift, feed, take away the people's pain and misery. I longed to release them from their fear of a mythical avenging God. When I returned to tell them the truth, how I would emphasize the reality of the Father creative power, perfect love, supplying their every need. All they had to do was ask, seek, knock, and all their needs of whatever kind would be bestowed upon them. How joyously I would tell them the good news that redemption from suffering lay within their grasp, if they only took the necessary steps to cleanse their minds and hearts of the twin impulses of manifested being.
Yeah. Got to do the
So,
next right thing. You can't, that's part of this. Like, to obtain this type of mentality, you got to start somewhere for some people, and usually it's when you're broke or whatever, broken, and you just had enough, and then you turn to God.
yeah, it seems a
That
lot of
was,
people have those spiritual moments at the bottom. Kedlin.
I was here. Yeah, a lot of AA in there as well. Just doing the next right thing. Being attuned when I'm a part of the community and engaging and participating and bettering myself. That you feel the universe aligning. Like, I do feel that when I'm on the beam.
Right.
I do.
It's a huge difference. You get used to it, you expect it, like, almost, and then when it don't come, you got to deal with it too. When people start coming at you and you don't even know what the hell you did, right? It's crazy. It happens a lot.
The Matrix is calling. The Matrix is calling.
Yeah. Yeah. Situations, whatever. And you got to, and that's where you put to the test with this stuff.
Right. And in those moments, you have to turn to God, you have to, and try to sidestep those bad feelings of lashing out yourself, just because somebody lashed out at you. Those are when you're really tested in this.
But really, what you're trying to do is apply this to change the outcome, which directly implies this because it tells you that you can create a different reality.
Right.
If
This
you want.
elevates your thinking, even if you can't buy into it like 100%, right? It's still, this thought process goes, it helps. It helps to elevate your thoughts, especially in some parts of this hit harder than others. Like, so, like, it all depends where you're at, what section might, click something in your head. That's what I find.
Well, they
The
told
thing I
us, right?
love,
Sorry. If you
no, I was just
spot
going to
it, you
say,
got it. So if something relates to you, more than likely you're suffering from some part of that, like, or have suffered from it, which is why it's like it's hitting not a nerve, but it just like your senses are going off about it. Like, it's like, oh wow, that really makes sense. I mean, at least that
Mhm.
happens for me. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
no, the main thing that I really like about this philosophy of understanding this is it puts all the responsibility on you. Being a victim doesn't fit into this at all. You can't sit there and blame everybody else for what they do to you, what the world did to you. This is 100%, hey, change your actions, plant the seeds, reap the good harvest, see if it works. And if it doesn't work, look at yourself, look in the mirror, and that you actually hold the keys. Like he said, I can't wait to tell everybody that everything they want is within their grasp. How joyously I would tell them the good news that redemption from suffering lay within their grasp. Like, it's no longer you have to wait for God to come and save you. No one's coming to save you. You can save you, right? Just like, so basically now you don't have any excuses, because if you put this into practice, your life will change. And you can't sit there and blame other people for your current situation anymore. And that is it's hard for a lot of people to buy into completely, because a lot of us, it's just the way that the world is right now. We want to blame everybody else for everything going wrong in our lives, instead of looking at what we could be doing maybe to create a new consciousness pattern by doing good for others and going out there and doing it for other people, and using your energy to teach other people stuff like this, or to go out there and go help somebody that needs some help, or be a shoulder to cry on for somebody, and just put the effort and the caring in for other people in this world. And then you will reap the benefits of that, instead of having a mentality of, oh, it's just everything's not lining up for me. And that's really what he's discovering here. And you know,
So I had a cool thought before, right? I was thinking about the ego, right? We were talking about how this is deflating your ego because in a lot of situations, ego could be terrible, right? But what if there was a way through this to direct ego to be like, is true Christ consciousness like directing the ego to total good, but not only like is it like having conviction and like what is the total opposite of having ego? You know, because that would be like I don't know what the opposite of ego would be. Was it like conviction?
I would say like the opposite of ego is
Selfless.
the greater good. No, not
Yeah.
selfless completely. Not I mean in a way, but not
Like, is there
I
a
would
good
say
ego?
for the greater good. Well, no. I wouldn't I would say no. I would say there is no good ego because then you're doing this just for some selfish reason. That's what ego means, right? You're doing it to protect your own like to become the better than others, conquering. That's a good word, or conquering, not helping the whole greater good, right? Like the greater good is the real big thing here. Like Jesus walked the earth and he wanted everybody to be free of themselves, of their own to be free. And he cared about everyone else more than his own well-being. Like he didn't go get a mansion or use the power of God to give himself all this money. He walked around and he had nowhere to sleep. He had nowhere to stay. He would go to people's houses and ask for them to give them food, and he would do healing in return. And he would send his disciples out, you know, and they didn't have like a church, right? They went town to town, and that was the way he just kind of look at the way he lived, right? As your ultimate example. And you really can't say Jesus walked around with any like self-centeredness, right?
So ego equals self, right? I mean, you could say that ego is self-centeredness and self. I'm thinking of myself and just about me. When I'm not, when I'm in
Right.
unity with community, in unity with community. There you go. That's a nice slogan right there.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And well, they always told me in AA is that the opposite of addiction is connection, and it kind of, you know, it kind of correlates in a way.
That I kind of dig. I dig that unity and community. But it doesn't mean like you just have no self-worth. Let me put it that way. You have worth. You have a lot of self-worth. You respect how powerful you are, and you respect how important you are. You respect how much agency you now have, because now you realize that you have a creative power. Like you're actually determining your reality. But you're not going to do this to just make Mike happier. Like just, oh, well, I got this power now and I'm not going to, you know, I'm just going to hoard it to myself and I'm just going to worry about what I need. That is a battle that we're fighting in this whole thing, you know? And I
can't
hope I'm
hoard
explaining that. Yeah, right. I mean, you know, ideally everybody would be elevated by this, not just yourself. And you know, and again, I'm learning this stuff too. I'm not claiming to be like, you know, I'm going through this process as well just as much as you guys. This is my understanding of it right now with what I've learned so far. And it's, you know,
well, with sobriety like that, there is like a weird selfishness to this, because I was taught that if you stay sober or want to stay sober or be involved in this and keep what you have, like you have to give it away. So I know that, like, in order for me to keep this, like I know it's going to keep me sober, like, so it's like almost like I know I need to do it. I know it's not for like in a way it's for me, but I also enjoy doing it. So I guess like your motives really are important in those types of situations.
Yeah, I guess so. Okay, so if I understand what you're saying to keep your own sobriety, you have to give it away to other people So you're looking at it like, well, I'm only doing this because I want to keep my sobriety. Is that what you're trying to say?
I don't do it now, like, but there was points that I have done it, and like sobriety didn't work as smooth, because there was like a selfishness to it. Like the meetings weren't the same. Like I was only going there because they told me that if you want to stay sober, go to the meetings and then do what we do. But there wasn't really like any other want behind it. It was just because I was told so,
I got you.
And then like I had to like go through that to understand what I just went through, in order to change my perspective again. Like I had to go through that to like see it for what it was. It was like, oh, I was selfish, and I was working a lot too, and then I started going to less meetings. This actually helps me tremendously tap back in because I'm not going to the meetings as much, just because of my schedule, the baby and this and that. So this is like, even if we put it an hour or two aside, like this is an hour or two that we get back on or I get back on the beam, or just to get back into my thought patterns, which is cool.
I kind of like that you mentioned this actually, because it kind of reminded me of, because when I read the Old Testament, I have some trouble sometimes because a lot of it's about fear of God, fear of God. And then the New Testament's more about, love your God with your heart, soul, and mind, and love each other as you love yourself. What you said before, though, reminded me of Old Testament. And, maybe there is, and I've been speaking to a lot of people about this because it's been something on my mind. And somebody very smart, very intelligent told me, Mike, some people don't get the love part right away. So the fear is what gets them in the door. And you know what? That's kind of like what you just said. The fear of you losing your sobriety brought you to the door to do the meetings. And then when you did them, you felt the love of changing other people's lives through your own experience. So maybe that's just part of a process for people. Some people need that fear to get them to be, maybe at first it's ego. Okay, well, I got to do this because, like, let's go Old Testament real quick. I don't want to kill nobody or steal from anybody because that's the law. And Moses said, "Thou shalt not steal." So I will not steal because I'm terrified of hell, right? So that's kind of like, okay, I got to do it. I really want to steal, but I'm going to not steal because I'm terrified. And that was what those people, what I'm learning is the people at that time, in Moses's time, needed to hear that because they weren't going to do it out of the kindness of their heart, apparently. Their hearts were hardened to the point where they weren't going to do it just to be nice. They needed to be terrified not to do it. So maybe that's part of the process. The more I talk about this, I'm feeling like kind of what you said reinforced that for me, that maybe at first you do it for your own ego, but then you realize that it's not about you. It's not about your sobriety.
No,
it's about,
that's
you know what I'm saying?
In the beginning, I was more in fear. I was like, oh my God, like I'm either going to die. Like I didn't want to die, I didn't want to die at all, but I couldn't stop what was going on for some reason. And this one particular day that I was able to stop what I was doing, but it struck me like a thunderbolt, and but I was stricken by like fear, like immense fear. I was scared shitless that I was going to go to jail for like 20 years,
Right.
And like I was shaking and shit. It was bad. And I turned white as a ghost. My sister was like, "You were right?" I'm like, I couldn't even talk either. Like I couldn't believe my eyes, but it happened. And like later on, like at one point in my life, that moment was like the worst thing that ever happened to me. Like 3 years down the line, I could look back at it and it's like that was one of the best things that ever happened to me. So like as you go along, like you come over different bridges to like what was once, once you were suffering from, you'll look in a different light. And all of a sudden became like a bridge to get you to the next, phase of your development,
Praise God. That's incredible. I love that. Yeah, that's exactly what, I'm learning from your experience so much. Like it's like you're a testimony to the fear getting you to where, we get to the same point, man. We eventually cross to that point. Like I didn't really have that experience, but I'm here with you now, and it's beautiful. Like it humbles me a little bit. I have to realize that there's so many different paths to get to where we're at right now, you know.
Yes.
And maybe I have to, you know, open my mind a little bit up to the fear aspect being like almost the first step. You got to get scared shitless sometimes before you completely surrender, right? Like Lenny was saying down before, he was saying a lot of times people got to lose everything, be completely broke or whatever to finally care about other people. I met a guy who was a Vietnam vet. No, he was a Korean vet, Delta Force. And we were talking, and he's a very successful guy. He owns multiple properties, multiple businesses. And I asked him, I'm like, so what's, you know, I just started talking to him, and I asked him, like, you know, how did you get so successful? You know, just talking. And he said, Mike, the best education I ever got was being poor. That's what he said. He said, so I was like, you know, it's interesting. So he was probably on the street. And that's when he completely surrendered to the greater good, I guess, or whatever his story. He didn't go into details, but he said that. And he said the two secrets to success is God and love. I was like, man, I mean, that's really great.
I feel like God and love just multiplies so much more than anything else, you know, like especially on that like karma basis. Like if you want to throw these other angles into it and like what you put out into the universe, like usually. And there was one daily reflections that I loved. It was like, we of AA have struck gold as long as we insist. I think I said this before. As long as we insist on mining it for the rest of our lives and giving away the whole product. You know, and the way I understand that is that obviously I'm going to attain all this information that I've been looking for. But once I receive it, I should give it away, which is what it tells me to do anyway. And if I do that, usually God returns what I gave out there with 10 times more and a much better product, you know, because it's like one of these things that keeps coming back and forth, you know, the flow of information, like. And then when I give it to other people, I feel good too. So that's a very important piece, is to exist in this, you know, realm, you know, and feel good while doing it.
Yeah. You're making a difference, man. You know, you're actually making a difference for people, and that feels good. It feels good, you know? Yeah, that's great. So, okay, I'm on the next page. It says, this should be simple enough. I thought one only needed to understanding and self-control. That's what he's saying. It's kind of, that should be bold. I mean, that's all you need is those two things. You need understanding of the power you have and self-control to do the right actions. And then now it has like a little parentheses. It says, I have descended towards your vibrations to refer back to my actual state of mind during the time I was in the desert. It will help your own understanding immeasurably if you try to enter my state of consciousness at that time. So many things, such as my works of healing and walking on water, will become clear to you. They will be seen to be a natural consequence of my new understanding of the Father creative power. If you read the Gospels of Matthew and Mark, their records will have a new meaning for you. And I did that after these letters, and it really did. All the parables in Matthew and Mark gave a whole different meaning to me. The parable of the hidden treasure, me and Lenny talked about that a while ago. And a lot of this stuff, you get a different way of looking at the Gospels of Matthew and Mark. So you might want to do that after you finish these.
Isn't that funny though, how that you see the parentheses that it put it between?
Yeah.
That whole thing from I have to there, it's got its own little indication in it. Like,
it's almost like a little tap on the shoulder. Hey, listen.
He said that there would
Pay
be
attention
different.
to this.
They said that there would be different types of comments on that. Like it would be bold, some would be italic. And he said the guy who was or girl, whoever was the recorder there.
Yeah.
Didn't know what to, just knew that it felt different. So they, you know, like almost like a vibration, like almost coming in, right? And
even said, I descended towards your vibrations. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. See, he said it, right? And that's funny because, like, part of this whole thing, that's when it started, was like that whole Terrence Howard episode on Joe Rogan. Remember that years ago? And that one spot where he had all the graphs and all the contents of you know, the elements and everything like that, and how the music and everything would just kind of play in a certain harmony. And then, like in the middle of this too, a lot of that 369 kept coming up, right? The videos about that, things of that nature, vibrations, right? God frequency, all of that. It's amazing how it does tie together.
Yeah, yeah, it's all connected, man. Like we always say, you know, everything is connected in a one way or another. Um, so I think it's that universal consciousness, really, Len. I mean, I feel like we're all connected. I truly do believe that. All right, so I'll keep going. To return to my final hours of enlightenment, there I was in the desert, possessing the clear understanding that man himself, through no fault of his own, creates the barrier to attunement to the Father creative power. And now I was longing to hurry back and teach, heal, comfort, dry the tears of those I so greatly pitied. Yet I was reluctant to leave this hallowed place where I had been so illumined and transformed in spirit. On the other hand, what a wonderful future lay ahead of me. I would walk through all the cities, towns, villages, and tell everyone I met the good news. The kingdom of heaven, that place where all sickness disappeared and every need was supplied, was within them. Because I knew that Father and I were one, now that my mind had been cleansed of the old thoughts and ideas, I would direct healing at their illness and disease. I would teach them how to relieve their poverty. So in that paragraph, he says the kingdom of heaven is within. So in other words, you can reach this divine consciousness if you follow the other letters that we spoke. And, you know, there's 8 more letters after this as well. So that is the point of this. And a lot of the Gnostic teaching that I read after this also speaks of having the kingdom of power, the kingdom of heaven within you.
Yeah.
Some of them.
Well, that's quite a story as well. I mean, like, hey, man, you first stumbled into this, and then that spring shotted you into all that other stuff. I mean, what's the rundown? Do you remember the whole lineage of it?
Yeah, I could give you a quick rundown.
Yeah, give me a quick history of that.
So a quick rundown was I was exploring the other books of the Bible. This was before the letters. I was exploring the Gospel of Mary Magdalene, which was very confusing at first. I remember that. I remember it was talking about archons and having. And I'm like, I didn't even know what that stuff was. And I'm like, what is all this? You know, and then it even said,
but it explains so much, even if it's talking in the figurative, it's still useful information. I mean, that's where people got to understand that, you know, just screaming heretic and putting your hair on fire doesn't really cut the mustard in my world, because we've been trained for 10 years to explore. And then, you know, you look around, you take what you can. I mean, even AA. That's a saying out of AA, is that, you know, if you hit a bad meeting, I'm sure there was a couple of good things that happened in there. Take what you need and leave the rest. That's all. Leave the drama. Take the message and leave the drama, you know? And that's that as far as that goes. But that Archon stuff helped me in real life. Like situational awareness, man.
It helped me a lot too. Now, again, I read this for the first time. I didn't even know what I was reading. I had no idea.
Right.
Let me check this out. So I read it. I was confused, but I really, there was one part in the Gospel of Mary where they talk about having visions in it, you know, and I was like, that's interesting. Okay, cool. Then I went to the Gospel of Thomas, and that was the big one. That's the one. So I was reading it. It's just like a bunch of his sayings. It's not really like a story. It's kind of like the QL ones that it's just sayings. And I'm reading it, and it says, when one become two, what will you do? And when two become one. And I don't know what it was about that, but then I realized that I was split. Like,
what about our sequence?
What?
One becomes two and two becomes one.
Oh yeah, right. We were talking.
Oh,
about
geez,
that.
yeah, that was wow.
Oh
That
yeah,
came. It
with
came back in a different variation.
the
Wow.
Fibonacci sequence. Yeah, 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13. Yeah. All right. So anyway, so you get me off topic. But
Podcast for
anyway,
another
so
day.
I mean that was my moment. You just ruined my whole moment, but it's all right. So whatever. When two become one, and then there was something that said you must realize who you are. Now I don't know if that was two separate things I was watching, but I think it was. And then I think I went back to the Gospel of Mary, and it said you must remember who you are, and that just hit me. And then that's when I had that moment what you were just saying, Lenny, where you're like, wait a second, are you saying I'm divine? And then like that was that moment where I realized what I was learning, and it scared me. I was fearful, and I actually hit the ground, and I was like, because I was scared because I always was taught that God's up there and I'm down here, just like you were saying, right? But then I realized in that moment that I have that within me, and then I realized that I am older than this body. And that's when I had my moment, my thunderbolt that like Lenny had his thunderbolt when he thought he was going to go to jail for 20 years. I had the thunderbolt when I heard that, and I really felt it. It resonated in my body. And then that changed my whole life. Then I started getting really devout into reading a lot of stuff. And then I stumbled upon these letters. And then this was like a month of my life, at least, maybe more, reading all 9 of these letters. Like really, and then I had a lot of adventures along the way that we could get into another day. But you know, I had a moment where like I was really reading this stuff, and a lot of crazy things happened. The one big story is that 7-Eleven experience I had, where somebody said that they wanted to kill me in 7-Eleven. This guy, he said he was a devil worshiper, and that I'm on a list, and that he has to murder me. And I'm like. And he said, you know, don't you understand? I worship Satan. And I'm like, well, I worship God. I worship Father and my Lord Jesus Christ. So you do what you have to do. And then I just stood there, and I basically gave myself up to him. And he didn't hurt me. He started like flipping out, like having like a moment. And he's telling me about, I joined this church because of my girlfriend. You don't understand. My girlfriend actually killed some people. And I'm like, listen, man, it's never too late. You don't have to follow this path, you know? And then I started talking to him on that level. And by the end of the interaction, we were hugging, and I said, I love you. And, you know, you're going to be all right.
Oh,
I was like,
that's
I know.
So nuts.
It's the nut, dude. I've told multiple people this story. It was a real crazy moment. And that was a big moment, because then I realized, faced with death, I chose.
Oh my God. I don't know if I can handle that.
Yeah. I know. And you know what's funny? If you would have asked me before that happened how I would have reacted, I don't know. But in that moment, I was very proud of myself, because it worked out great. Because I don't know, if I would have tried to fight him, it could have went a lot differently. And, you know, old Mike probably would have tried to fight him, you know. So it was just it was almost like this proving moment in my life. And then I started getting into a lot of the other gospel of the other hidden books of the stuff that was found in the desert, and all that Gnostic teaching. And then, so that's pretty much my story. That's from January to now, all that crazy stuff happened. So, yeah, that's my story.
What about that guy at the deli?
Oh, you want to talk about Artie?
Artie,
I don't know if they're ready. I don't know if they're ready for Artie, man. That's another story. I think we should have everybody read all the letters before I talk about Artie, because then they're really going to be,
bugged out.
Yeah, that's a bug out.
So,
that's a bug out. That was talking to like a random like guy who ended up being a genius that you would have thought was like, you know, homeless, and he ended up being a genius and knowing a lot of stuff. And that was another. You know, it's not a coincidence. It's a God incidence. Those kind of things. So yeah, that's my story.
Hallelujah,
dude. Devil
Man,
dog.
I don't know how to have. That's just one heck of a story, boy. That is just something unbelievable.
Yeah, my life has been completely different this year.
So that all happened. That all happened in this, yeah. And then I don't know. Something in letter 3, I believe, right? It was like around letter 3.
Yeah, around letter 3, I had another epiphany moment. it starts going into electromagnetism and how that ties into the whole universe. And that was like a real moment. And then it started talking about, I don't remember exactly. We're going to have to read it again, you know? But these letters are really special. And it's amazing how these letters tie into all that stuff and more. You know, these letters are very special. And that's why I really wanted us to read them together. You know, I was asking you guys to read them, but I think now you're starting to see like all the wisdom in this. This is really profound stuff, that these letters.
It's amazing how like vast we could think when all three of us are together, though, if you think about it. You know, like all the different perspectives all at once. If you could detach emotion from it, you could really get a lot of meaningful conversation. Meaningful conversation and thought, you know, just speaking out loud, you know, of all this good stuff. And I look at something different than you do, and you look at something different than him, and he looks at something different. You know, it's pretty cool. I like doing this type of stuff.
No, I really enjoy it. I hope, you know, I think we should do this. We should do this more regularly, and I'm sure our viewers are enjoying it too. And thanks for tuning in, everybody. Really, it's a pleasure to have people with us and that are enjoying this content. All right. So when the Father consciousness within me began to dim, I gradually returned to human consciousness. See, like that's the dichotomy there. Like that's what I was talking about when the two become one, right? Like when you could finally let go of your human consciousness, that's the ego, right? That's that I can figure it out. I could handle it. I could, you know, and what I need. But when he was in this desert, he didn't eat or anything. He completely detached himself from everything that he needed on this earth. And now he finally is reaching a part where he realizes he hasn't eaten in days and he's hungry. So his human consciousness took over, and then the divine consciousness dimmed. So there's this thing that we want to keep in mind, that the more we focus on what we need, the less that we're in, you know, the less we focus on what we need, the more we're in tune with divine consciousness, and vice versa. And he's experiencing that. But you know, we do have to actually eat. But that's why fasting is actually really a great thing. I recommend doing it like once in a while. Do 1 day of fasting, because you deny your body of something that it wants. And it really, if you focus on spiritual readings or read the New Testament during that time, you're going to get a lot more out of it, because you're only focusing on your spiritual self, your soul, and not your bodily earthly needs. So I want to throw that in. That's funny. One sentence puts me on a tangent. That's how much I love these letters now. Like after reading them, after all the stuff I've done and going back, I don't read these anymore.
Isn't it crazy how much thought it incites? You know,
not only that, wait a minute. Don't sell yourself short. You had the audio playing at the same time.
What do you mean? Like when I was listening to it?
You were listening to it on top of all of that reading.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
But going back to it now, after all the other texts, I've read a lot of text after this. Like it's a lot. So going back to this now, it's really nice. It's like with a fresh set of eyes, reading this. So it's really great. So, okay. So when Father consciousness within me began to dim.
Give me the page, Mike. Give me the page.
19 in the middle.
19 in the middle. Okay.
When the Father consciousness within me began to dim, I gradually returned to human consciousness.
He runs away from you.
Oh, my God. Why don't you read it? You know what? You got your paper. Go Father consciousness. Go ahead. Read.
I'll give it to Lenny. Hold up.
All right, forget it.
I got it.
I'll read it. Only if you don't.
Oh, I cursed. All right.
I'll read it. It's fine. When the Father consciousness, you do the next paragraph, I guess. Now, go ahead, read it.
When the Father consciousness within me began to dim, and I gradually returned to human consciousness, I became aware of gnawing hunger and also a return of my human conditioning and thought. My reactions to my 6 weeks experiences began to change. My usual human awareness of me and my desires took over my thoughts. Why the most amazing and completely unexpected thing has happened to me, I exulted. I have been given knowledge beyond any yet given to any other man. I was jubilant with the realization that at last my doubt and rebelliousness against the avenging God of the traditional, I just lost my spot, of the traditional Orthodox Jews was vindicated. I had been right after all. Who had ever been suspected the human mind could be so highly creative that a strongly held thought or desire would actually manifest itself in the visible realm? I realized that Moses must have known something of this because he had accomplished some strange things when the Israelites were in dire need. He became a leader and changed the course of the Israelites previously enslaved in Egypt. I could return now and free my people from the rigid control of their own teachers. My hunger pains now became intense. It occurred to me that I could turn stones into bread to satisfy my longing for food because I remembered that the Father creative power worked through my mind, and therefore everything in the universe would be subject to my command.
So this now in the traditional gospels, this is where he's getting tempted by the devil. So this is very important. So like try to remember that. So the devil came with three things. He said, well, if you're so if you're truly the Son of God, turn these stones into bread if you're hungry. So draw those parallels because he's explaining now what that actually was, right? Because what it was is him saying, I'm going to use the power of divinity to just make stones into bread. And that, and that would have been using it for a selfish reason and not to feed other people. Now, when he performed the miracles later, he turned 5 fish and a couple of loaves of bread to feed 5,000 people. That was good. So he's using his power to feed a bunch of people that are starving. And he's not using it just to feed himself bread, right? So that's
I mean,
again,
I could think of that thought a little deeper. Think about what we're doing right now. We're not harboring the information. We're attempting to give this away to starving people who don't have the information.
correct.
And we're doing.
I'm not
it
doing
just
this
like
for any other reason. I mean, we're not getting paid for this.
I mean, that thought could turn into that. I mean, that could be thought out like that, right?
That's why I'm doing this. I'm not doing this to make myself famous. I mean, I could give a less crap about it. I'm just trying to get this information out there,
Yeah, me too.
So, and I want to help other people, and hopefully, I mean, this really has helped me. I mean, this kind of thinking, it changed my life. So I'm hoping that it'll change other people's lives too. And again, you could tie this right into the Bible. One of my friends, he's a big Bible guy. He says, whatever you're reading, make sure you could tie it back into the Bible. Well, this ties back into the Bible right here. Which is great for those.
Well, that's where the grok comes in handy too. Like if something clicked in there, you could like say, okay, tie this into Bible verses and then just read it.
You can do that. I mean, I don't know how good grok's going to do.
You know what I mean? Appropriate, whatever.
You got to have an idea that this is in the Bible by knowing the Bible well. I mean, like, I don't know.
Whatever it finds.
Whatever it finds is nice, but I agree. Listen, I'm not poo-pooing on AI, man. Like, you use it for stuff like this. Yes, absolutely.
The overlays are incredible that you find when you have something you're working on and then you think of something else and you say, okay, tie this in. Yeah, that's where the magic sauce happens with that thing. Like, you got to throw your own ideas into it and throw it off and move it around. And then there's some subjects that you're going to get bad info and you test it once in a while, see if it's moving towards the truth or not. Yeah, right. But on other subjects, forget it. It's going to give you the right answer. It's like a gigantic encyclopedia that's just instantaneous. And then
absolutely, you don't have to click on ads. Like if you search something on Google, that's a nightmare. Sometimes you get 25 sites trying to take your credit card. You got a bunch of sites that aren't even telling you the truth. And on page 25, you might get something interesting, yeah. and you use AI and you get some answers. Like I was looking at it today actually to explain like breathing practices for meditation. Like I would have been reading through, forget it, all these books on, and it just gave it to me right away. Here's a step-by-step process that certain people who do this do, and it's just great. It is great. It's like a big encyclopedia. And I think it's a good servant, a terrible master, if I could put it that way, like you got to use your own your own agency. And like this is saying, you actually have access to divine consciousness, which is divine intelligence, which is better than artificial intelligence. But sure, it is a good tool. I use it. We were just talking in the show. We make music with it. I mean, like Lenny, did you ever think about how much we would have to go through to make, like, to be a record producer, putting albums out? Like, and we could just type in this machine and make a song that's half decent. Like, yeah, it's not perfect. It's AI,
how long it would take me to learn how to produce like that?
Right.
And like the whole purpose of it is like me and you are musically inclined. Like I sing, he plays guitar. We could easily take these like these are just mock-ups. Like some of his like religious shit is religious stuff is in the like his depiction of it through music. Like the music that I'm making is songs that I would love to learn and play live one day, like they easily could be played live. Like that was always the, a couple of my friends are like, it's AI music. And I'm like, but that's all like, it's just log it in the book. It's a song, you know how many years we didn't have any songs. Now we got hundreds of them. Well, maybe not hundreds, but almost 100 of them.
I got a lot of songs on Mikey V Music. I mean, I got a lot on there. I mean, and I love it. Like I said, and I'm so focused on this now. Like Lenny said, I've been making like religious music. Like you could listen to the Pistis Sophia album, and you're basically reading like.
Yeah, you put all that stuff out there.
Yeah.
Great meditation music. I meditated to one day.
Oh yeah, thank you. Yeah, meditation Mikey V Music is the album. Yeah, I love that album. That was really good. And I used the Tibetan bowls, the solfeggio frequencies. Just sometimes I turn that on and I just want to meditate. I meditate to my own music. How awesome is that, man? I made my own.
I don't even really listen to any regular music anymore. I really don't. I listen to all everything I made.
Me too. I listen to my own music.
And it feel so much better. Like I rock out too.
Yeah. I was doing that for a while in the beginning. I was like, I want to listen to a blues album. I'm just going to write one. Like, isn't that awesome? Like, and it's
Luca, bro. Luca the
Loser. That's a good song. Yeah. I got blues music on there. It's fun. But like, just to wrap it up, AI is great. I mean, if you use it right, I just don't want to make it the only thing I use, but it's such a great tool. It's an assistant. It does a lot. All right, so where were we here?
I think we finished this.
Oh, right at the top. No, right at the top. I was about to speak the word which would change stones into bread, but something in me halted me abruptly. It came to me strongly that the Father Creative Consciousness was perfect protection, nourishment, fulfillment of need, and so the hunger would be taken care of if I asked Father for relief. So he didn't have to create the bread. He just needed to ask Father for it. And that's what we could do. So we don't have to be at this level that we could create miracles. But if we have access, and we all have access to pray to God, just pray for it and believe you'll receive it, and something will happen. You'll get fed.
So I'm not even like understanding this in like the normal guy would think that he's talking about food. And I don't think, I mean, like in a way he is, because he's talking about his world, but I'm like understanding it like on a totally higher plane. Like I guess that's what AA has taught me, but I'm getting like it's hitting a lot of points for me, especially with like protection and nourishment from the Father, creative intelligence. Turn stones into bread. Like stone, something hard and dark and just dull. I mean, just rugged, into something bread, soft. You eat it, it's nourishing. I break it down even to like on a situational basis. Like these things like, or myself, like that, like things that no longer serve me, like that we've talked about. You know, you can think of it like that as well. There's so many different ways that you could understand this stuff. It's crazy.
That's great. I mean, now that's the way I would interpret, like if we were reading Matthew right now and it was talking about this happening with the devil, you could definitely say, hey, the stone is like something hard that doesn't serve you, and bread is something that is soft and that nourishes you. And it, you know, and when you read, you know, back in the desert, when we were in the desert section, he was saying that everything that's solid in the world is actually soft. And when he saw everything as soft, and these little what do you call them, the shimmering motes, he saw the actual molecules of everything. Like it was like the end of the Matrix when he saw all the code. Remember at the end with the code? It was like that moment for Jesus when he reached this enlightenment. But in this case, I think he's being literal, because he literally said he was hungry and he was going to turn the stones into bread, but he realized that he just needed to pray for it and he'd get bread. So that, I think, is an important lesson that he's trying to teach us here. Even though he had that power, he didn't want to use his power. He wanted to surrender to God's power, you know. I in this case, but I mean, I love your interpretation of it. You know, it could be another way to look at it. Yeah. If I ask the Father for relief, I realized that if the little I, the human me, in my need, used creative power for selfish reasons, I would be erecting a barrier between the Father creative consciousness and myself, and everything I had just learned might be taken away from me. So he's nervous. He don't want to lose what he got. So he doesn't want to do anything for a selfish reason. So he realizes that if he does this for selfish reasons, uses this, he'll lose it. So that's something we should understand, that, you know, when you were saying before, what are you saying? Am I God? Well, if you start acting like you're God and asking for things like that, you're not going to have the power. So it doesn't work like that. So he's pretty much flat out saying that right there. It's like a sin, I guess you could call it. It would be a sin doing that in his mind. This frightened me, and swiftly I asked the Father creative power for new strength to carry me back to habitations and Nazareth again. I also asked for relief of hunger in the form that would be right for me. And that's bold and underlined. So let the Father decide what the relief for hunger is right for you, not you decide. Again, his will, not my will. Thy will, not my will. Right? So it's still teaching you biblical principles here. This isn't like this is, you know, people will be like, oh, this isn't in the Bible. It still wants you to do the same things Jesus would have taught you in the New Testament. I also asked for relief of hunger in the form that would be right for me. Immediately, the hunger pangs subsided, and I felt a surge of energy flow through my entire body. Thus, I proved that all I had seen, heard, and understood was reality, and not some vain imagining born of my time in the desert, fasting and alone. So it wasn't just his imagination. This is real. And that's like when you realize that, you know, it's not all in your head. Even if people think that, oh, you know, you're just acting crazy, you know. When you know, you know. You know the truth. My new energy enabled me to make haste over the rough tracks on my way out of the desert. On the way, I met a well-dressed man of sweet and pleasing countenance. He greeted me warmly, expressing concern on seeing my rough, unkept appearance and loss of condition. Gladly, he sat me down on a rock and shared his excellent meat and bread with me. I wondered why he was in such a desolate place and where he had come from. In response to my questioning, he only smiled and seemed not the least surprised when I said I had been in the desert for so many days I had lost count of time. I explained how I was enlightened to the true nature of the creator of the world and shown the natural laws of existence. He only smiled and nodded. I'm going back to my people to teach them everything I have learned, I said joyously. Why, I will be able to heal them and bring them release from every sickness and trouble. The stranger replied sadly, it will take many millennia. I was about to rebuke his lack of faith when I realized he was gone. So he had a visit from a divine messenger. So we don't know if this was God himself or an angel, but he gave him the food that he would prayed for. So he just prayed for food and he got it. And then he got the bad news that even though he's going to try to save everybody, it's going to take many millennia for everyone to learn what he just learned in the desert. Maybe it was 2 millennia. Maybe it was 2,000 years later, you know. I hope so. I hope we're all going to learn it now. Anybody? We're good. I'll keep going. Okay. I knew then that a divine messenger had come to succor with good bread and meat, and compassionately. And meat is, I don't know why meat is bold there. That's interesting. Good bread and meat. And compassionately give me warning that I might not find my mission so simple despite my enthusiasm. I was deflated by his word of warning. My enthusiasm waned. The way to the first village on my road seemed endless. How a change in human thought produces a change of mood. So he had this feeling of dismay, and now he's like, oh, the village is far away. I'm so hungry. And he's starting to get depressed. And you know, he was just joyous a minute ago when one person, well, it was a divine messenger. It wasn't just some random guy. But, you know, the bad news hit him pretty hard.
Maybe an archon.
I guess. I
Doubt
don't know.
crept in.
It did. It did. But yeah, it did. You're right. Maybe it was.
Now, could even like these divine beings be attacked by archons as well?
I don't know. I don't know. I haven't. Yeah, I think they do actually. Yeah, they do. Because Sophia was a divine being and she was trapped by archons. She descended into this world and she was trapped and she had to pray her way out of it and redeem herself to get out. So yeah, I guess you're right. Okay. Okay. So I might have to take a break for a minute.
Yeah, why don't we play some tunes? We'll take a little like 5-10 minute break.
All right, yeah, let's do that.
On for 122. I'm still down to keep going. My girl.
Yeah, I mean, listen.
Home for a minute.
Yeah, I think we should. I think we should try to finish tonight. And I'll do that now. I'm going to go to a quick.
That's why I was on mute for a little bit. I wanted to let you get through some material. I could sit here and talk about this over and over.
All right, let's do that. We'll be right back.
All right. There's no music, Mikey.
Cause she grinds so fine. Said I call my baby coffee. Cause she grinds so fine. And once you start to feel it, your whole world is sublime. Well, that's a groove worth saving up for, honey. That's a look I like. When you shaking, quaking like you dance the pines. With no making faces, cause I'm hoping to be making you mine. And if you wanna try it, I'll show you how to do it. I'll make you go blind as soon as you get to it. Ooh. grind so fine. I call my baby coffee. Cause she grind so fine. Said I call my baby coffee. Cause she grind so fine. And once you start to feel it, your whole world is sublime. Oh, you take the top down, set it in overdrive. I'm not a mechanic, baby, but I'm staying in line. I said we make a good team. I can fix it if you ever run dry. And if you wanna try it, I'll show you how to do it. I'll make you go blind as soon as you get call my baby coffee. She grinds so fine, I call my baby coffee. She grinds so fine, said I call my baby coffee. She grinds so fine, and once you start to feel it, your whole world is sublime. It makes sense of this world we living in. It keeps speeding up, playing sides in this game, nobody wins. It's like the end of every day, every night. I need my favorite high to ease my state of mind. Tight just to find some shelter. Oh, my Madeline.
Hello. You guys there?
How do you do? Man. How was your break, man?
It was good. I took care of a few things. I had to put the daughter.
Yo, before you get started,
sure.
You got that song "Never Gonna Be the Same" over there?
Do you have it or me? Is it on Mikey V? I got Gray.
I think you got it.
I might have it. Let me see if I got it. Hold on.
It's a good song.
Mikey V music.
I don't think there may be. I don't know.
Never. Let me see. Never. Oh yeah, I do have it.
Nice.
It's a good one.
Rip it.
One day when I looked in my life, I took a step back and realized I was broken inside. One day when I looked in my life, I took a step back and realized I was broken inside. It's never gonna be the same. It's never gonna be the same. It's never gonna be the same. It's never gonna be the same.
flame, bro.
All right, there you go. That was a request by Lenny V. We wrote that in your basement, Lenny. Right?
All-time
Did we write
favorite
that by
is
your
they
house?
took
Yeah, we got video, you guys. Back, geez, I had it on TikTok.
me.
I couldn't last long on TikTok. I'm not a good TikTok survivor.
Me neither, man. Me
Oh,
neither.
it
I
was
mean,
like flag
my
after
TV music
flag,
is
man. It
alive
was
and well on there,
a
but as far as
relentless,
like posting, nah.
a relentless slew of flags. But I did get out for a little bit. I mean, I got out like 350, 850, and then boom, they started the barrages, the hits.
Yeah, my
They're
shit
tough, man.
Yeah, tough.
Commyville.
I don't
bro.
even put out really anything anymore on there except for the music. The music's good though. You could actually
You
do
know
a
what I
TikTok
do? I
with
got one.
and Lenny too. Yeah.
I got one account, and I just monitor Stephen Baldwin and watch his one bad movie skit. Oh
Oh
man,
wow.
you
He's
gotta
still
tune in
doing
to
that?
Stephen. Oh, of
He's
course he is. What are you kidding?
man, I was watching that like years
Oh,
ago when he started that.
I love that. That's one bad movie, man. It certainly is one bad movie.
Certainly is. All right, I got some tea brewing over there. Let's see. Where were we here? Oh, he met the guy. Yeah, he met the divine messenger. And then you were saying he might have been an archon. It seems like he was like an angel or an archangel, maybe Gabriel. Who knows? Or it could have been a bad influence too. Now he did tell him the truth, though, right? That everybody didn't reach enlightenment while he was alive. So
I don't know.
you
It could
know,
have been just a random stranger too, right?
I don't know. I mean,
I
like
don't know.
listen to what happened. I mean, the guy
Yeah.
the guy didn't seem surprised that he found out about the creator of the world in the
Right.
desert. Like one of us, a random guy would have been like, really? Wow. He was just like, no problem. And he said to him, it would take many millennia for what he wants to be accomplished. So it seems like this guy knew what was going on. He wasn't just a random guy, I would say. Right.
That's right.
But anyway, so he started feeling his enthusiasm waned. The way to the village on my road seemed endless. How a change in human thought could produce a change in mood. And that's where we stopped. It came to me that I could further prove the truth of all I had been shown by jumping over the edge of a precipice, which would greatly shorten my journey. As I was about to do this, it came to me forcibly that I was trying to prove my time of enlightenment was real. If I required such proof, then I was in a state of doubt, and I would probably kill myself. Besides, I have been shown that in every eventuality, I could lift my thoughts up to the Father Creative Consciousness and ask for a solution to every problem. How quickly I forgot the truth. So this was the second temptation of the devil. Maybe that guy was the devil. I don't know. You know, Lenny brought up a great point. I never even thought of that when I read the letters the first time, it being an archon. Now, for those that don't know, an archon is basically they get into your head, and they're the ones that feed off your fear, your anger, your disbelief, your doubt. They want to break that connection you have with the divine consciousness. So interesting. So now the second temptation. Now in the Bible it says, the devil says to Jesus, "Why don't you just jump off and fly and show me? Because no, jump off this precipice. It was written that an angel, have all the angels save you from hitting the ground." And then he didn't do it. Jesus wasn't tempted. I forgot the exact response. So he realized again that just because you have this power, you will lose it if you do it to prove that it's real. Like you have to just have faith, have trust, faith over fear, trust over doubt, right? So And then he said, so I prayed passionately, asking forgiveness for being weak enough to indulge my own fantasies and seeking my own way of doing things. So he repented. Again, the answer came in renewed strength and a greater sureness of foot. As I scrambled over the rough ground, I found too that I was covering long distances so quickly that it seemed that I had stepped outside of normal time reckoning, and I was in a lighter dimension where human experience was lifted above its heavy thraldom of exhausting expenditure of energy. Walking was so easy, it was now invigorating. I exulted in the fact that I had found the key to more abundant life. So instead of flying there, he had faith and he repented, and then he ended up going there quicker. And he's saying time actually bent to his will. Okay. So a while later, feeling so much at ease, my mind began to wander, and I thought about my meeting with the stranger and the kindness he had shown me. But I also remembered his warning, and again my old nature reasserted itself, and I felt deeply rebellious that he should presume to tell me how my work would go. I decided he knew nothing about my future and set his warning aside. Why, I thought, with my knowledge, I could accomplish things no man has ever done before. Instead of struggling in a difficult life, I could begin to accumulate wealth easily, attract followers wherever I went, and share my knowledge with them to make their lives easier also. I could take away all pain and suffering. As I contemplated the many places I could visit so easily, I felt myself skimming the surface of the ground and rising until I reached the highest peak of a steep mountain overlooking the countryside below. There it was, all laid out before me. I felt my previous enthusiasm return. Why, it would be so simple to round up the people, share all my knowledge with them. I would become powerful, even famous, as the man who rescued mankind from all their sickness and troubles. I would gain their admiration and respect and would no longer be remembered as an idle, worthless fellow. With a tremendous shock, all I had been taught so recently, but a few hours ago, returned to mind with great force and clarity. I had not been taught that had I not been taught that the only way I could ever prosper was to abandon my self-will and turn to the Father for assistance in everything I undertook, then I remembered that creation had its own special purposes to fulfill. The individualizing process had created the pull and push, and the give and take in human behavior. Although these characteristics caused people great anguish in their lives, was it not the anguish which forced them to seek better ways to live in order to find true happiness? I realized that the ills of mankind had their place in the human scheme of existence. Now, this is bold. Was it right for me to bring privileged information to people in order to nullify the effects of the individualization process? Now that's
so. Now somebody in AA told me you can't deny somebody their pain. You know, like their pain is necessary to go through. It's their path that they're on to get to wherever they need to get to either A, come across and conquer it, or B, you succumb to it once again, or, you know, or die. You know, that's usually what happens is you go permanently insane in fucking institutions, jails, or you get better. And when you really go down the tubes, you end up just fucking dying, you know?
Right. No, this is really big because I remember when I was like an early believer, like, you know, years ago when I first started reading the Bible and stuff, I was like, why didn't Jesus just do this? Exactly this. Like, he's so powerful. Why didn't he just stop it? But there's something about, like you said, they have to go through this process, and that's really profound stuff. What we just read. I you know, it actually hit me pretty hard just reading it now. I don't know.
So read it again. Start from the top, man. Rewind it.
So it's just to reiterate.
Are you crying?
No.
No.
Me? No, I'm not crying. I mean, I would if. I mean, listen,
It's
if I felt
beautiful.
the need,
Breaking your balls like
yeah. I mean, I might cry. I mean, maybe
All right, don't
I don't know. I'm gonna
Come on,
cry if
man,
my
lighten
tea's
up,
not right.
bro. It's fun time. You gotta crack jokes.
I'm not mad,
play
dude.
music.
I'm
No,
not mad.
I'm breaking your balls.
You're such a ball breaker, Nardo.
right? It's terrible.
He's such a ball breaker.
It's
No, I
terrible.
love that about you. So anyway, Jesus could do whatever he needed to do, and he realized that there's a natural process that people have to go through, and he really shouldn't stop that process, which is incredible to me. So it said, where do I start? Let's go. I felt my previous enthusiasm return. Why it would be so simple to round up the people, share all my knowledge with them. I would become powerful, even famous as the man who rescued mankind from all their sickness and troubles. I would gain their admiration and respect and would no longer be remembered as an idle, worthless fellow. With a tremendous shock, all I had been taught so recently, but a few hours ago, returned to mind with great force and clarity. And this is bold. Had I not
clarity again. Sorry.
clarity. No, it's okay. Had I not been taught that the only way I could ever
Geez,
prosper
yeah, clarity.
was
right.
to
Oh my God, that's crazy.
say it. Oh, come on, guys, say what's on your mind. You can't.
No,
let it
this
out.
is like a breaking story, like that came in about 5 o'clock tonight about this hyper clarity thing. It's like,
Whoa. Right, you just said that before. Now I
President
remember what you
Trump
guys
will
said.
begin to declassify a massive amount of documents in an operation named hypersonic clarity.
Wow.
Nothing can stop what's coming. The truth will always prevail.
Wow. Okay, that is a synchronicity then. Yeah, I didn't connect those dots. Okay.
Yeah, and
So-
that just came out like, geez, this just happened maybe
4 hours ago.
3, 4 o'clock today, maybe 2 o'clock. I don't know, somewhere in there. Afternoon.
And we just happened to be reading this. And
Page, what are we at? Page
I don't
21.
know. Is it?
Let's go on a tangent with this. Let's do it, guys. Like, I you know what just hit me? This is why I almost cried. No, I'm just kidding. This is why. No. I really. And again, if I was going to cry, I would. I don't care. But the point I'm trying to make is, no, think about our journey, guys, as Anons, right? We went through some terrible truths that we had to endure, which opened our minds up to stuff like this. Because, like, you got to be ready to dive into some stuff and that was our clarity. And what Jesus is saying in this letter is it's part of the process.
But also, he's also telling us that, hey, you can't save everybody. Like, not everybody's going to listen to you. And that's why I think he was, deemed.
That's why we got 9 viewers on X. Thank you, guys.
Hey, listen,
No, but
we could spread the message if you build it, they will come.
Amen. Amen.
The truth cuts.
So my point is that we had to go through that process, and if we didn't go through that process, we probably wouldn't be where we are right now. The 3 of us on a podcast going over these letters, because we've been through that and we had our moment of clarity. What's the matter? What are you looking at?
No, I'm just reading. Number 21 keeps following me everywhere. We're on page 21 right now.
Yeah, we're on page 21 and there's clarity. So with tremendous shock, all I had been taught so recently, but a few hours ago, returned to mind with great force and clarity. Had I not been taught that the only way I could ever prosper was to abandon my self-will and turn to the Father for assistance in everything I undertook. Then I remembered that creation had its own special purposes to fill. The individualizing process had created the pull and push, the give and take in human behavior. Although these human characteristics cause people great anguish in their lives, was it not the anguish which forced them to seek better ways to live in order to find true happiness? I realized that the ills of mankind had their place in human scheme of existence. Was it right for me to bring privileged information to people in order to nullify the effects of the individualization process? That's where I stopped last time, and I got I had that epiphany there. So, it's, you know what, it's right, and it's not something that you would normally like think is right. Like, why does everybody have to suffer? But if they continually think like this, they have to experience the pain, like you said, from AA. They're going to experience pain until they finally either change or die. And luckily for us, we realized the cycle that we're in and trying to
Well, that's
break
what
the
you
cycle.
get is a moment of clarity, you know, like that's what it is. And then you're knocking at the door, you know, and all of a sudden you either walk through and my sponsor called it a window of opportunity, you know, you either jump through the window or it'll slam shut. You may not get another one for a while, or you face some sort of consequence which forces you to believe. Like that's what happened to me. I was no longer I don't know, I just was forced into like right into a pinpoint, you know. But I went through enough shit to like have a moment of clarity. I don't know what made it happen. Sometimes I look back and it's just, I guess I just had
No,
enough.
I'm thinking of you back then, like, because I knew you your whole life, and you know, we've had a lot of talks, and you just didn't want to listen at the time. You were just like, oh, fuck it, I'm going to do what I'm going to do. I'm going to be fine, you know.
Yeah.
And you know, and I'm not trying to pick you out. I'm just saying, like,
No, that's what it was.
you know, I think there's a natural growing process. I mean, I'm not 15. You know, it took me a long time too. You know, I mean, I'm not
I
saying
think
that
having
somebody
you and Dad too helped tremendously because you got, you know, a 20-year gap with him at the top, you in the middle, and me at the bottom. You know, like you guys went through a lot of shit and like taught me that, you know, and taught me things that I didn't need to, you know, endure in my life. Some things I needed to endure to learn my lesson, you know, but there's other things that I didn't, you know, that I've learned from you guys too that I didn't need to go through because I listened, you know.
Right. So, anything to add there, Lenny77? Just chilling?
Dr. Rico.
Dr. Rico, finale?
Just hanging out, listening to you guys, surfing around, looking around. A
Dude,
that
lot
was,
coming
get some
out.
clarity, will you?
yeah, get some clarity. Dude,
Yeah, I
that
mean that's
was,
what I'm looking at. Look, awaken outlaw, drip, 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 flood. Flood equals hypersonic clarity. Let your plans be dark and impenetrable as night,
Oh,
and when you move, fall like a thunderbolt.
dude, we are
Sun
fucking hitting
Tzu.
the arc hard right now, dude. Think, think,
John
think, think.
Solomon just blew my mind with this prediction about deep state accountability. And Benny Johnson's got like a 2-minute video. I don't know what it says,
all
Well,
right.
but
that's really like I think where like so basically within that stuff, and like we know if all right if good exists, evil has to exist. How they do that is disturbing, and we've seen it, you know, which I think turns us to this even more because I mean I don't even understand how
well, I
you
got a
would.
theory about this because it does tie in everything. Because if you're going to talk about everybody's frequency, when this shit finally sinks into people's reality, that people like me who've been screaming off on the side for 7 years saying that they're all full of shit really sinks in. I mean, there's a lot of gravity to that. It has nothing to do with me when that kind of levity hits a population that had no freaking clue because nobody was telling them the truth.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that's nothing to do with me. That's just the reality of the situation, but it ties into this whole frequency thing. Like once that snaps in, you know, who the freak knows?
Yeah, I mean, the truth is going to hit some people like a ton of bricks. I mean, you
Yeah.
know, I mean, it's really, it's a
I mean, if
lot. I
he's going to
mean,
declassify everything, I don't know what that means. I mean, you got to expect the storm, right? That's it. And it's hypersonic, no less.
hypersonic clarity. All
Epic.
right, I'll keep going. So again, now he's
Biggie.
realizing that there is a natural process that people have to go through, and he doesn't want to he doesn't want to stop it. So see how he deals with the problem. I realized that I had been thinking from the central point of my individuality. the ego. And it was the ego drive which built barriers between mankind and Father creative consciousness. Therefore, my central point of human desiring would have to be conquered if I was to live in perfect harmony with my Father, as was my sincere intention. And so I continued on my way, pondering what might lie ahead and how I might best overcome the impulses governing my humanhood in order to remain in the flow of the Father consciousness, from which I would draw inspiration, guidance, answers to problems, my daily nourishment, daily health, daily protection. In fact, I realized that whilst I remained within this daily flow of Father consciousness, no harm could ever come near me, and my every need would be met. And more importantly, the Father consciousness working through me would do whatever was required for people in dire need of healing and comfort. At all times, I must overcome my rebelliousness against the harsh realities of existence and listen to the inner voice and conform to the higher will of the Father. This higher will was perfect love, directed entirely at promoting my highest good. It would be extremely foolish, I realized, to continue along the path of self-will, which had dictated my behavior to that time. So he doesn't want to do it anymore. He don't want to just wave a magic wand and have everybody just know what's going on, which was the third temptation of the devil in the story, in the Bible.
Wow. Really?
So that was that is all three temptations from the New Testament, with behind the scenes of his actual thought processes of why. And the devil is self-will. Okay. So self-will, ego-driven actions is the demiurge or the devil or whatever you want to call it, the archons. And he fought off all three by turning to the Father every time. All right. So page 22. It was deuce. It was then that I was inspired to speak in parables to the people. So this is why, and I like this part, because I was like, why do you always do parables? Because the parables was his way around this problem. So he would tell you a story about throwing seeds on a path, and the people that understood the message would get it, and it would get past all the people that would try to twist his word later, because it's like coded message, where if you're ready to hear it, you're going to hear it. And if you're not ready to hear it, it's just going to kind of fly over your head. So that was his solution for parables. Those who were ready to receive the knowledge would understand and make good use of it. But as it turned out, even my disciples could not rid themselves sufficiently of Jewish doctrine to enable them to understand either the principle of consciousness or the activity of the divine creative power within creation. Until this time, it has remained a mystery to all except the spiritually enlightened. Even the spiritual words of enlightenment cannot be immediately fully comprehended by the human mind. Therefore, these letters must be read slowly and accompanied by much meditation and prayer to be properly understood. So he just called out his disciples right there in the letter that they were still, even though they walked with the man and were experiencing in person, they didn't get it. They were still so tied up in the Jewish doctrine. They were very, they were very learned in that, and they just couldn't break it. They could not break that. And maybe that's why it took 2,000 years for people to really understand what he was actually teaching. That's just my theory on it. Okay. Remember, unless you can become as a child, getting rid of useless clutter of beliefs, prejudices, resentments, ambitions, and ego drive, with a mind filled with wonder and utmost faith, you will not be able to absorb these pages as you should. So you have to empty your cup. And now it's not just Jewish, it's Christianless, it's Christian churches, Catholic churches, Jewish churches, all these churches now. Just like back then, the disciples had to, if they really wanted to get the message, they would have to completely empty the cup of
Completely
what they
give
were taught.
themselves to the simple program.
Right. Exactly. Jesus was a right? Pretty much. He was. And they just didn't want to give up the drink, man. They were just used to that drink, the sacrifices, the vengeful God,
bloodthirstiness,
the bloodthirstiness, the wars, the domination, the conquering,
sex, money,
you know,
rock
all
and
that.
roll.
And rock and roll.
You think
But yeah,
Jesus played the electric guitar?
I think he would be a great guitarist. I think so. Nice. I do. But I always go back to that child, this here, and this is in everything, guys. Like, you must be a child to enter the kingdom of heaven. That's in the Gnostic readings. That's in the Bible. That's in this. It's and like, what is a child, right? And I always go over this. I think we spoke about it in the other shows. It's what is a child? The child is completely dependent on its parents. And you have to be completely dependent on your divine parents. And you have to not clutter yourself with your own beliefs and your own human consciousness to achieve Christ consciousness or divine consciousness. Tough pill to swallow, but I think now it's like very clear what he meant. I think it was confusing when you read it yourself, but I think this kind of spells it out, really. I mean, in the Bible, it doesn't spell it out like this. You know, it just says, he just says, you must be like this child here, and you got to kind of figure all this out. But, you know, I think this is what he meant. I really do.
Well, you should it's one of my old sponsors. He was like, you should, and it tells you to think in the AA book too, that you should approach it like it's a childlike faith, you know, like a child needs its parents, you know, and you depend upon it for the answers, you know.
It says right here, you humble yourself. Exactly. To become a child, you must make an effort to shed all past mental conditioning. I mean, that spells it out even more. If you are mentally, emotionally, physically suffering, it is only because whatever have been your most sincere beliefs, they have not been helpful to you. They have not promoted your well-being. It is time to examine your mindset. Are you happy with it? That sounds like a step from AA. What is that? The fearlessly honest personal inventory one? What was it?
Wait, say what you said again.
That step where you're supposed to take a moral inventory, an inventory.
Made a searching and fearless moral inventory of myself.
So that's what he's asking you to do. He's saying, and what you said before, if it's not serving you anymore, why are you still doing it? Right. So if your way of doing it hasn't worked, then why are you still doing it? Right.
Well, like the twist behind AA is that allegedly I've come to believe that I've placed myself beyond human aid, you know, and that I need to utilize God in order to change my actions, and it's hard to do, very hard to do.
It is hard to do, but the answer's there, it seems, you know.
And no, it is. You know, you gotta do. You know, you gotta make an honest list of yourself, like pen to paper. You know, and really do the work behind it, and come over these hurdles. And then all of a sudden, you get to the other side, and you become a little bit more enlightened. Because, like you were talking about, that channel to your higher power gets a little less clogged and a little less clogged. You know, and I'm not saying that your pipes will ever be 100% clear, because then, I don't know, there would be nothing to work on, you know. So there's always going to be some sort of clog up in there.
Well, I mean, if you get them completely clear, then you still got a lot of work to do to help others. You know, it's never over. It's never over. I mean, I'm shooting for the clean pipe. You know, I'm shooting for it. And you know that I'm going to believe I could do it, and I'm going to believe that Father will help me get there. But again, it is, and you know, and I've heard people at church say this too. Like, there's a couple of guys I really love at my church I go to now, and this guy knocked it out of the park. Last group meeting I was at, he said, "You must change your mindset." I mean, it's everything we're talking about here is mindset, because your thoughts matter, right? And it is time to examine your mindset. Are you happy with it? You can make choices, and as you make them, you can call upon the Father to help you make the changes, and the help will surely be given to you, providing you do not doubt. Again, you have to trust that it will come, and it will. And always turn to the Father, and you'll get an answer. If you believe you will, you will. And that one, you know, you might not be able to dig holes right now, but I'll tell you right now, that one right there, you know, he will help you. I know he will. I believe he will. I therefore urge you to continue to read and absorb the following pages. I want to impress on you the strength of your mindset, which is the sum total of all your conscious and subconscious programming. It is essential you should understand that none of this human mindset has its origins in the spiritual dimension. It is entirely earthly and probably filled with mythical ideas, prejudices, misconceptions, resentments, buried memories of past hurts, and habitual methods of dealing with the ups and downs of life. Your human mindset, including any religious ideas or beliefs, determines your world, your relationships, experiences, successes, failures, happiness, and misery. It is even responsible for your sickness, disease, and accidents. Nothing happens by chance. Everything is woven out of the inner threads of your personal consciousness. Thoughts, expectations, beliefs in life, fate, God. You live in a world of your own making. This is why children raised in the same environment turn out differently. Each one has its own individual mindset constructed according to inherent character traits. If from birth you had no developing mindset, you would be as unconscious as a statue, devoid of feeling, responses, and thought. Vacantly, you would stare at the world, and whilst there, there might be a great deal of activity around you. Nothing would impinge on your consciousness, since you would be devoid of reaction. Nothing would make you happy or miserable, or even a bomb exploded in your vicinity. Without a mindset, you have no life, no development, no evil, no good. Your type of mindset determines the quality of your life. This is the very first truth of existence I want you to realize and understand fully. Furthermore, for as long as you live, you carry your mindset with you wherever you go. So this is the most important lesson of letter 1, is your mindset. And I think we've been kind of beating this home the whole time we've been reading this. Every episode, I've been trying to focus it, so I'm happy I did. And yeah, that's pretty much, that's the biggest part, man. I mean, you try it. I mean, really, try it. Just try to change your mindset. And like he said, are you happy with it? Are you happy with the way you're constantly anxious and fearful and feel helpless and small and all these things? I guarantee you're not. Then change it and see what happens. You know, I think you'll like the results. And, you know, and you could always call upon the Father to help you, always call upon God. And he'll love the direction you're going in, because you're going in the direction that he wants you to go in. And there's nothing, you know, I mean, you're in line with the Father if you're praying to be in line with the Father. So you're in good shape. As long as you believe, which I think, you know, even people that aren't super devout have faith. And if you don't, you know, consider having it and believing and see how your life will change. Because like Lenny was saying, you know, these people that are addicted to drugs and alcohol, they have to surrender to a higher power to get over it. And you can see the results. There's so much proof out there of people changing their entire lives. So if you're not a follower of Jesus, I recommend that you do that and just try to start it. And if you are, then start leaning on him, because that's what he's there for. He's there for you. Don't think that you're bothering him, like he's got a lot to do. I don't want to bug him with my small problems. You're not small. You're important, and you're worthy of his help. And he wants you to reach to him. That's the whole point of this, I think, is for you to realize that's why he's there, and he wants you to bother him. You're not bothering him. He just wants your faith and you to start walking the path.
It's hard for people to get out of here and reach there. you know. But then like he sends you like the strength back. Like it's we. I don't know how to really explain it. Like it just, you know, the only way to explain it is, or to experience it is to experience it, you know, and to just give it a shot. And then once you get evidence of it, like, holy shit, like I asked for that, you know, and you get one of those moments where like the stars align. That's the most powerful thing in the world. Because, you know, think of all the years of doubt, and then to finally see like basically like a shooting star in a way, you know. That's the way
Yeah.
it felt. I've seen a shooting star too. Shooting stars are dope, you know,
Yeah,
in
they
a
are.
way. But you know, when it shoots across the sky like that, it's exactly what happened to me. You know, it was just like a shot out of the sky, bro. It's nuts. It's so nuts.
I'm
And
so
then
thankful
once you
that you
get it, it
have
don't
these
leave you.
experiences. No, there's no going back. It's kind of like being awake,
No.
you know, like once you're awake, you can't go back to sleep, you know?
Well, now I just see it everywhere, but I also think that I choose to see it everywhere because I've learned to be grateful for this. You know, I've learned to learn from my mistakes and all this great stuff that trying to change myself gives you. Like it's a more offerable life. Like there's so many more options for you. Like instead of being stuck. Like that's all I ever really was stuck. You know, there was no. And like I didn't really believe either that there was anything other than what I was stuck in, because it's all I thought about of how shitty where I was at, you know. So it really ties into this too, how it's important to change your perspective and your mind state. But that's also what AA does, is because it's trying to re-gear your mind to think about something else. You know,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and that's what this is too. It's to replace old behaviors with new good behaviors, old terrible thoughts with new thoughts, you know, and ask for a little help along the way too.
That's it, man. That's why I always said, like, you know, we could use AA to help people get through this too. You know, it's such a powerful thing. All right, so main thing here is examine your mindset. If you're not happy with it, make choices. And the very first truth of existence is your type of mindset determines the quality of your life. So give it a shot. All right, page 23. We're almost done. Got like 3 more pages. You know, we're close. I want to finish this. Let's say there is no escaping it. And day after day, it will continue to create for you the type of existence you have experienced in your past. Many people go through their entire lives believing they are unfortunate. They think that other people have been mean, unkind, ugly to them, and had made their lives thoroughly unhappy. They believe that other people quarrel with them and consistently make difficulties, whilst they are absolutely innocent of any provocation. On the contrary, other people are not to blame. It is the personal mindset which is attracting to them their negative conditions. Many people shy away from the suggestion that they alone are responsible for their troubles. It is more difficult for some people to face up to their inadequacies than it is for those who have the inner strength and self-confidence to look at themselves fairly and squarely. Sincere prayer draws the Father creative consciousness into the mind, quietly, secretly. It cleanses the human consciousness of all that the seeker no longer feels comfortable with. It is, of necessity, a very gradual process of inner cleansing and development. So this is what we were talking about before. You have to get rid of that victim mentality and start looking at what you can do to change your mindset, because what this is teaching us is your mindset is allowing these other people to be in your life and doing the damage that you're blaming them for doing. So then emotional patterns. Your emotional patterns can be as damaging to your overall welfare as your mindset. Your mindset together with your emotional patterns are your creative tools. These together create the necessary outlines for future possessions, events, and circumstances. These creative tools work in your life whether you intend them to or not. It is far more difficult to discover your deep-seated emotional attitudes, either conscious or subconscious, than to recognize your mental conditioning. People can be possessed by negative emotional patterns and be quite unaware of them. since they are covered by the moment-to-moment emotions arising from the daily routine. So, not having control of your emotions is a very common thing, and that's something I struggled with. I was always very emotional. I know, Lenny, you had your moments of outbursts, and me too. So this is something, this isn't really something that, if this is hard, because these do come out of nowhere, emotional feelings. It's a little different than like trying to be happy and not being like angry all the time. It's like those like when somebody cuts you off on the highway or something like that, those snap reactions, you got to try to rein in.
Yeah, it's tough. Things that make you go pop.
Yeah.
Things that make you go pop for 500, please.
Yeah, exactly. So it's part of it. It's the thoughts and the emotions. If you could get them both under control, you're in great shape. I mean, that's the battle right there. Let's see. Yeah, the moment-to-moment emotions arising from daily routine. To discover what your emotional patterns really are, ask yourself questions along the following lines and be totally honest with yourself. To try to hide from the truth of your emotional patterns is merely to deceive yourself and hold yourself back from achieving the joyous state of existence you were intended to enjoy. How do you really feel about life? This is actually some people that are really devout Christians, they hate their life. They're like, oh, I just can't wait till it's over and I go to heaven, right? That's a common thing that I've heard people say. Like, I enjoy life. I feel very positive about it. I don't know. I'm sure like if you asked me like a long time ago, like I guess Lenny, when you were in the dark spots of your life, you probably weren't too fond of life, I would imagine, right? Do you remember those times at all?
When I was fucked up, I definitely, it was weird. When I wasn't fucked up, I hated my life. When I was, though, that was a totally different guy. Like, sky was shining. I mean, the sun was shining, birds are chirping. When I didn't have shit, oh my God. And then to have a physical withdrawal from it, too, was terrible.
Yeah.
Very dark.
So that would be some. I guess you were putting all your happiness on this, chasing that desire for that feeling, I guess.
Yeah, I guess it was a dopamine rush, but then like at some level it was just to be normal because, there wasn't enough of it that you could. I mean, I could get really, but I would at some level you don't have enough money. You burn all your funds to get, and then you're just, you're just doing it to be normal. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. At some point, it's not even like you're enjoying it now. You're just doing it so you're not doing it. Right. So like the not doing it is so bad.
Yeah. I needed to wake up in the morning, basically, or needed it to wake up in the morning, basically,
Right.
So to get disgruntled about anything in my life, like I should remember those moments, that it's not that serious,
Right. Right. Yeah. So, so this is asking you, how do you really feel about life? I want you to write yourself a warmly compassionate letter telling yourself exactly how you feel as you answer the following questions. Are you happy to be alive, or would you prefer to be able to cease to live? If your truthful answer is the latter, then you have a negative attitude towards existence and are at war within yourself at a deep level. You know consciously that you have to continue your daily life, but at the deepest level, you would like to quit. The interior war prevents you from attracting all that you could be experiencing with a positive emotional pattern. So that's one thing. So, and this is again taking that inventory. So if you feel negatively about life, you're at war with yourself. That's what this is saying. How do you really feel about your relatives? Is there any buried hostility which you do not want to admit or that you did not realize existed? I can't stand you, Lenny. Just kidding. I love you, Lenny.
My bad, I got sidetracked.
You weren't paying attention. It said, how do you feel about your relatives?
Oh yeah, dude, Lenv down there, he fucking sucks, man.
Yeah, he's a
Guy
pain in
cannot
my
pay
ass.
attention for nothing. I don't even know where he is yet.
Where's your supersonic clarity, Lenny V?
I'm waiting for the first drop.
Okay, you keep waiting, buddy. You keep waiting.
Go
How do you
ahead and
really
take
feel
it,
about
Pops.
How do you really feel about your relatives? Is there any buried hostility which you do not want to admit, or is there, or that you did not realize existed? How do you feel about your employment, colleagues, entertainment, other races, etc.? Write down all your discoveries about yourself and lock it away in a safe place. So I want you to do that. This work you have done for yourself is for yourself, only for your benefit. You have not done it to make you a better person or to please God or to win approval from other people. You have done this work to remove existing inner blocks to your spiritual development and ultimate happiness. If you decide to change your life by reading these letters daily, I urge you to put your dated letter in a safe place. Reread it in a year's time and rejoice in the great changes which you will see have taken place in your mindset. You will also see that there have been changes in your circumstances. So I did this. I did do this. I wrote the letter and it's in my binder. And
I've done it too, like in the AA version of it. Like I swear, Bill Wilson, the guy that made AA, had to have stumbled upon this, or like, I don't know. There's some crazy correlation between this and that. You know,
there is, and that's why I wanted you guys to read it. Right.
And it explains it in there that it doesn't explain it the way it does in AA, is that in this it says this is between you and God. And a lot of people get stumbled up because of 4 and 5 is like where you give it to God, you tell another human being the exact natures of your wrong. But step 4 is where you actually take action. You write down on the list your character defects and basically everything that's stated right there, to just so you could get on a piece of paper and look yourself in the face, like this is what I am, And
well, this is what this is all about.
Yeah.
This is all about looking yourself in the mirror and taking responsibility for your mindset.
Well, the guys in the rehab, like they sometimes can't understand God, especially if they know. So like I tell them to write down on a piece of paper the qualities that they think their God should have. And now you're looking at it in the, like they don't realize it, but I'm basically telling them that they're looking at their God in the face on this piece of paper and to pray to that. Wow. It's like, and at the bare minimum, I mean, and I've heard people say this, that if you don't have a God, you can borrow mine, until you get one.
I'll put mine out on loan. That's pretty funny. I like that.
Yeah. A lot of stupid little slogans that, eventually like there comes a day where like, I don't know, they just get you through the moment,
That's great. Yeah. So I wrote this letter down. I guess I'll revisit it in a year from now and see. I haven't looked at it, but yeah, everybody watching, I mean, do what this said. I mean, rewind the video to where we talked about what he wants and write yourself a letter and then date it and get yourself through these letters yourself. And I'll put the link up for you at the end. All right. Remember that prayer and meditation focused entirely on your creator will bring you new strength and insight, which in turn will bring changes to your feelings and environment. When praying, never focus on your problems. Always ask for the right remedy. Let your creator bring you the right solutions, which your human mind is incapable of thinking up. So pray for the solutions and don't drone on the problems. Like we said before, don't say, not weeds, say, I want roses in your garden. So don't focus on the negative, focus on the solution. If you're praying because you're sick, pray for your recovery. If you're praying because you're struggling with some kind of a negative thought, start praying for the positive thought. Well, like you were saying a few weeks ago, the opposites, right? Like opposites will cancel each other out. So, instead of focusing on the negative, focus on the positive, and then God will give you the answer. And that's the way to look at it. Look for a path to the solution.
You got to figure out a way to like just distract your mind, whether it's reading material, anything really. Me, if is a big thing is work. You know, time flies by at work, especially or just moving in general, just
Mhm.
cleaning the car, this or that. You know, doing the coffee stuff, like that stuff. Just when you're doing it, like you gotta keep your mind busy, you know, and not obsess over whatever it is you're trying to overcome. Too, you gotta find
Mhm.
healthy pathways to conquer these little molehills you have, you know, that trip you up.
Yeah. For instance, never tell your creative father how ill you are. Concentrate on the power you are receiving immediately into your condition, although your consciousness may be too densely human to feel it. And give thanks for your swift recovery and believe in it. When you give thanks, you are accepting, acknowledging, believing, impressing in your own consciousness that the realization that your prayer now lies within the Father love consciousness and is being processed for visible manifestation in due course at the right time. When in Palestine, I constantly gave thanks for the work before it was accomplished. That's important. Always give thanks, because giving thanks is believing and trusting, right? So
Mm.
that's that shows no doubt. If you're already thanking for it, you know you're going to get it, and you believe that checks all the boxes for being having faith. Yeah. So okay, never pray and then go out of your room and tell people how ill you feel or how terrible the personal or national situation is. If you have asked the Father Creator to solve your problems, finances, or poor health, what an insult to the Father Creator to continue to bring up past negative conditions. You immediately undo the work that Father Creator is engaged in. So again, like stay away from those negative thoughts. If you prayed for it and you believe you're going to get it, what are you complaining about? Okay. If in your mind after prayer, the old conditions have not become past negative conditions, then return to prayer until you can dismiss them from your mind and really believe that all is being divinely taken care of. Right that minute. Return again and again to giving thanks for the benefits you have asked for. They will surely materialize. So stop yourself right there. So if you're starting to complain about what you just prayed for, stop it and pray again. And then just get yourself finally in that
You know,
mindset
it's
of it's
crazy. In the ninth step promises, like at the
happening.
end of it, it like says something along the lines uh, like it talks about the promises, and then it says they will always materialize. They will always materialize if we work for them, or something along those lines. But it just like what you just read there reminded me exactly of that. You know, like that little piece is that if we put in hard work, you know.
That's the work. I mean, in this situation, the work is believing and returning again and again, giving thanks, even though you screwed up. And if you screw up, you just turn back to the Father and make it right away, and show that you realize you screwed up. And that's you're showing you're willing. I remember one guy that I met at the church. He says, Father, give me the will to be willing. And I thought that was such a great prayer. It's not, it's, just, I'm willing to do it. I'm here and give me the willing to do it and continue, follow through with it. There are many thousands of people in your world today consistently relying on the universal Father Creator to fulfill their every need and witnessing to the manifold blessings in their lives. Abandon fears. They have availed you nothing. Now, turn to the universal Father Creator as the source of your being, conception, growth, development, nutrition, regeneration, healing, fulfillment of your every need, protection, all within a system of spiritual law and order. Realize that all this wonderful work is constructive, purposeful, orderly. You truly have a mastermind behind you, your family, and living conditions. Trust it. Do not allow your thinking to spoil the divine creative operation. Remember, above all, that I, the Christ, only performed my so-called miracles because I realized that the kingdom of God was within me and that I could always rely on my creative Father to do the work in and through me. Remember that you only have an individual consciousness because you have drawn it from the creative father consciousness. And that's something I realized, Lenny, like the ability we have to think is divine, isn't it? I mean, like we're not like that's what separates us from like animals, right? Like we have the ability to self-observe ourselves. We have the ability to process things, to think complicated. Like you always say, we could think of multiple things at once. That's a gift we were given. That is not that's something that we take for granted so much. Don't you think I mean, it is amazing. I mean, if you
Let alone the
actually
amount of information we can remember about all these different subjects is fucking bonkers, dude.
Yeah.
How many terabytes of memory do you think we have in our brain?
I don't think it's terabytes, man. It's beyond.
Yeah, how many God bytes do I got, bro?
God bytes, man. Infinite. He has infinite bytes. You'll never have to upgrade your computer again. Can you imagine? You didn't have to buy a computer every 5 years for once,
Imagine you had to plug into the computer to upload your chip. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so.
To charge in your little cell.
Okay. Yeah. What did Lenny say? Josie the robot? I don't remember.
Yeah. Come on, we should get one.
I remember that thing. I want that thing where you press a button.
Rosie. It was Rosie the robot.
It was Rosie.
Yeah.
Remember how they got their food? They would press a button and there'd be like a whole meal there.
Yeah, right. The pills. They used to have the pills. And
You put the pill in, press the button.
Like the drinks, right?
Yeah.
You don't even. That's what Dr. Judy was saying anyway that day, right? You don't even really need it.
Just take a pill of the
her stuff. Yeah, no, her stuff was incredible. I gotta get more of that stuff.
Right?
Was so
it was
good.
like you just.
It was like a multivitamin that she made. It was incredible.
Right.
That's what really when you had your little awakening.
That's right. He was Dr.
Dr. Judy decalcified.
Yeah, she helped him out, man.
Mikey
she cleaned him out.
You think that's what happened? You think she decalcified
Mikey? Probably did.
Came to that conclusion.
She probably did.
Man.
That was some good stuff. I missed that stuff. It was really good. You took a little
you get more of that stuff.
Yeah, I'm gonna write that down. Dr. Judy's vitamin.
That was I was talking to a random guy about glutathione receptors in my little study I did with AI, and he's like, "Yeah." I was like, "So what do we do about it if we get bombarded from every angle?" I was like, "Do we got to keep taking this so we're constantly cleaning ourselves out?" And he's like, "Yeah, that's exactly what you got to do." And I'm like, "Well, that's
I stopped that too. I was doing that. I did that too. It took out. You know what I just read? Some guy at work just told me. Sauna. Go in a sauna for 200 degrees for like 20 minutes. That's really hot. But that's what this guy's like super crazy. He calls himself the human vampire, so he's a little weird. I don't even whatever. I don't even want to talk about that part because I was like, bro, this guy's too weird for me. Like, I don't want to hear about.
Did you get a weird vibe from him?
No, it was my buddy from work, the guy you met. He's not the human vampire. He watches a video of this guy. People online, people watching probably know who I'm talking about. I'm not big on the trendy stuff, but this guy's like a trendy guy. He's like a biohacker guy. And he was saying, forget the vampire crap.
Oh, that guy. Does he have really pale skin?
Yes, that guy. Yep. Yeah. So anyway, he was saying, forget the blood stuff. He was saying that you go in a sauna and it was the best for getting rid of the metals in your body. He said you sweat him out. He said that was he does. This guy's like he runs all these tests and stuff. And he said the sauna. You do the sauna, and you'll sweat out a lot of the metals. Just for
apparently your feet are a huge detox point too. Like
really?
There was a spot down in Sayville that was doing. One they were selling this like a very healthy water. I guess it was like high. I don't know exactly what it was. Don't quote me on it, but like I guess high alkaline type of deal.
Yeah, I'm familiar with that stuff.
They would do these detoxes through your feet in the water, and the shit that would come out of people's feet was absolutely disgusting.
That's
like
so interesting.
Brown, gooky, like Dude, disgusting.
Oh,
Like, and I'm
out
like,
of
that
your
comes out of
feet,
your
out of the
body,
pores in your
out of your
feet.
bottoms of your feet.
You
Yep.
sure they didn't like not wash their feet for a while?
No, like they put this like thing in the water with the I don't know what the water does, but like they put this thing in it, and
Wow.
it might like do like something along the lines of electrolysis, and it pulls the heavy metals out of your body through your feet into this tub of water.
Never heard of that. That's cool. I'm gonna check
Crazy.
that
I think the
out.
place
You
was
know what's
closed down.
funny? As you're saying that, I'm looking at this meme I made today, and
Okay.
RFK Jr. was testifying on the oath or whatever. And out of nowhere, the guy says, Fruit Loops is poison. Just like that. And I'm like, you know, I wonder who else in the world really like just slowed down the world and just grasped the concept of what this man just said. And then, like, go look in your house. And then I think that stuff was like at the top of the food pyramid when those people came in. So he had to
I mean,
like flip the whole food. Yeah, I mean, like, it's pretty deep. You know, it's pretty biblical if you really stop and think about it. Like, really down to the roots of the whole place. And then, you meet a guy like you, and he's talking about a demiurge, and I didn't really understand the concept of it because, I mean, you could just think of this things conceptually as well. I mean, you don't gotta, right? So that's a layer of it, right? So, yeah, this world is actually built messed up, like it's flawed in everything, and it's like how you say you got to elevate above it
right.
and get above this shit because there's a whole nother world waiting for you. Otherwise, they'll just have you like, hey, man, look, shiny object.
That sucks, man. I fucking love Fruit Loops.
I know,
Yeah,
right?
I
I
know, right in
know.
the middle of the thing, and it's like, damn, I mean, they're not going to report on it. I mean, I don't even think they're reporting on much of anything. It's like everybody's probably,
What about
I
Fruity
mean,
Pebbles? Was Fruity Pebbles on there?
I mean, anything with those dyes, man. The red, the
yeah, like the
blue,
man's
those
trying to get a message out, like
yeah,
people
dude.
said, like
And you know
even with
what's
those
funny?
pregnant ladies, think about it. The pregnant ladies with the Tylenol, like they got a message out. Who listened? Who didn't? Who didn't give a shit? Then other people like went nuts and went overboard. It's like I don't know. That somebody's trying to say something like behind the scenes, and it's like a layer behind everything these days that's coming out. It's popping out at the seams now. All the lies are coming out.
Yeah, I heard that like if you get Fruit Loops and all that stuff in like Europe, it doesn't have those dyes in it.
Yeah,
It's only here. Isn't that
it's
crazy?
only here. I mean, it's like, like what's really messed up? Like all the heart problems that people have. Well, that's like a new phenomenon because of like they changed the cooking oil back in like I don't know,
Mhm.
1908. Like when it first started happening, nobody knew what the hell it was. Because nobody had that like so much, like constant heart disease. They brought that upon the population. It's pretty fucked up.
Yeah, a lot of my friends that are really into healthy stuff, they use different kinds of butter now. They stay away from any
Yeah.
seed oils are bad. I heard what is it, ghee? I think it's called ghee is like a really healthy butter. I still like old natural butter, but the oils I stayed away from. What else did I kept trying to think of the other stuff, but you like this is teaching us. You take your own responsibility for it,
Right.
and you start eating different foods. Start eating whole foods. Start eating,
But think about like
stuff that
being
don't have all the chemicals in it and all that.
you're born into a system that you don't even know it's false. Like,
Well, I
you
don't
know.
even know. Like, we know that they do crazy stuff with the food too, like bioengineering with seeds and whatnot. Like, we don't even know if like we're
Yeah.
getting the true God's green earths.
Yeah, I
Uh,
know. It's like the
Lettuce, the
bananas changed
tomato,
like so
like
many years
these could
ago.
all be hybrid tomatoes, like on a macro thought. I'm
That's
not trying
not.
to be like conspiracy theorists, but we know that they're willing to change God's creation, which is the whole point of, I feel like, of the demiurge that he talks about and what this talks about is to always mess with God's creation, right? Take it out, so to speak, until it's non-existent. But we've learned that, I know in my life that God always wins. You know, as long as we come
right?
collectively to this unity
Otherwise, you end
place.
up in the living in the fear, like so. It's like that back and forth, the duality to the whole thing.
Well,
But
it goes back to your mind. What you're putting into your
once
mind.
the
It's
rest of these people wake up, they'll realize that this is no joke.
But
So
we read in this, it's not it's our job to spread the message. It's not up for us. They're supposed to wake themselves up. We just the
no,
pastor.
now
We're
they're
the
gonna
vessel
help
of
them, right?
information.
They're gonna help them with hypersonic clarity. They're gonna get it with hypersonic clarity now.
Now
So here
also
it
you got
comes.
the money changing allegedly with the Clarity Act, too, as
It's all
well, waiting
connected.
on
Yeah.
crypto
Who the
clarity in
hell?
this thing. Hypersonic clarity, and something's pointing to clarity, which means I don't know, maybe a great reveal or something, or I think eventually
Seems to
the
be in the
timeline
cards, right? Heavy.
gonna flip to straight up good. Like this evil will be eradicated. It may take some more time, but the light is peeking through now. There's so many more people that are believing in God. It's just the way that it is. People aren't drinking as much anymore, addicted to fentanyl because there's somebody in office that's actually doing something about these cartels
Yeah,
that
he shut
have
down the
been doing.
borders. I mean, all
Like
we needed was a
things
new
are much
president
better.
for that. That was obvious. No matter what side. I mean, it went from like 80,000 a month to zero. And what the hell? That's a lot of people, 80,000 a month. And at least if you're gonna, you gotta. It's craziness, craziness. It's no way to run anything. Who runs things like that?
Yeah, I agree, and like Lenny was saying, like you guys are saying, like people waking up. I mean, I feel like it's going to hit an acceleration point. And think about it. I mean, if everybody realizes what RFK just said, General Mills is out of business, bro. They're out of business. Like no Fruit Loops, no Fruity Pebbles, no Lucky Charms, no. Everybody's gonna be like, fuck that. They're gonna start eating like other stuff, and then they're
But
gonna have to
Mike, it's
catch
even
up.
worse than that because the other guys had it at the top of the food pyramid when they got in. So I mean, like, I don't know. What more freaking proof do you need that
But
there's
what do you mean
something?
by the what do you keep saying the food pyramid? What does that have to do with the fruity
Remember when
pebbles
you
or
were a
whatever?
kid, you had a food pyramid on the
Yeah,
school board?
yeah,
Well,
I
this
remember.
last administration, they had it at the top of the food pyramid, Fruit Loops. And now this guy's coming in and testifying that it's poison. I mean, what the
Right.
fuck is going on here?
Well, listen,
Something
isn't it
is
common sense? So
amiss.
hold on. Isn't it common sense by this point that this food that's processed with chemicals in it, all that stuff, we should be avoiding? I mean, if you're still doing it, I mean, like I don't eat it, right? I don't have to eat it. Now, like Nardo said a good point. He's like, well, how do you even know the freaking lettuce is good? And you're right. But you know what? I gotta eat. And at least I'm cutting out like 80% of the poison. And now, when I try to eat fruits, vegetables, I cook myself. I'm not just going to get chicken nuggets at McDonald's. So, like, you could do things. You could take some agency and not eat this stuff too, right? I mean, I'm just saying a little bit.
No, it's just one of those. You got to be proactive towards it, and obviously, if you could cut out 80% down, is way better than being 100% on. You know what I mean? So, like, if you're being proactive about it and like being conscientious of what you're putting into your body, regardless. I don't know. I need to eat better myself. I don't eat as much. I try to. I notice that if I don't eat, I'm just I'm a psychotic. I get a little emotionally nuts. It's easily susceptible to archons.
Yeah, right. Yeah. No, that's
It's
true. I
crazy.
mean, when you're hungry, you're like in a weakened state, and it's easier to lose your emotional control. Like we just went over the emotions. That's I battle that too. I mean, that's normal.
Right. It said
But like,
earlier in here though, Jesus was lost touch with his spiritual
yeah,
when he started worrying about his hunger in the physical realm.
right, exactly.
That's
So
interesting.
it is. Like I said earlier, though, there is some advantages to fasting, and they said it's actually healthy for you to do it once in a while. But you got to eat. You got to eat, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you can't avoid that while we have this body, right? We got to eat. So, but I guess the reason why what I'm trying to say in response to what Lenv said is I'm trying not to do the victim mentality, even though he's right. The guy's right. I mean, the cards are all stacked against us here, but we could still not like say, everything's poison. Because we could get through this. And like I said, if enough people start realizing it, we could all vote with our wallets, if hopefully eventually everybody stops eating it. And now they're just screwed, right? We don't have to eat it. You don't have to eat Fruit Loops,
Now this may be a conspiracy theory.
You just got to get the message out, man. Don't eat them, man. Just don't
locked
eat them.
away in the deep.
I don't know what he meant by that, but it can't be good. What the hell? He's not the type of guy to say that for no damn reason. Like, I don't know if people don't understand what they're hearing or what.
I guess they think he's a conspiracy theorist, I mean, sadly for them,
He's running the place now. I mean, geez.
I know.
Give it some, but I mean, maybe they just figure it the whole place is a clown show and they can't trust nobody.
Put some respect on my name.
What'd you say, Lenny? You cut out there, Lenv. All right, we'll keep going.
Yeah, we're almost done here.
Well, we literally have one page after this, so we're gonna finish letter 1. Even though we went a little long, who cares? We're gonna finish tonight. Let's see. So remember that you. Did I read that yet? No. Okay. Yeah. Remember that you only have an individual consciousness because you have drawn it from the creative Father consciousness. That's when I went on the tangent with that consciousness itself is a miracle, really. When your personal consciousness is fully cleansed of negativity, you will discover that you, too, have become the purified channel of the creative Father consciousness. You will also be a joyous source of growth, nutrition, healing, nurturing, protection, fulfillment of need within a system of good organizational law and order to all who come within your orbit. This powerful influence will be extended through your mind to your families, friends, neighbors, farmlands, and your animals and crops. Even as electricity passed through your hands will light a Bunsen burner in a laboratory, so will your life force radiations benefit all who come within your radius of influence. This was the intention behind creation. You were intended to express universal creative consciousness through your mind and heart. I, the Christ, have come at this time to show you how to do this. First of all, consider my state of consciousness when I perform my so-called miracles. I did not say I did not pray a set prayer. I simply asked the creative Father, radiating through my own consciousness, for whatever was needed. I strongly realized and visualized the Father creative consciousness was a dynamic operating force which manifested itself through the visible world as creativity, intelligent design, growth, nutrition and nourishment, protection, healing, regeneration, fulfillment of every need, all within a system of law and order. I realized that the creative Father consciousness would radiate all its nature through my consciousness to enter the consciousnesses of those who had asked for healing and sincerely believed they would receive it. I also knew that if they did not have faith and expectancy of healing, this type of negative consciousness would not be influenced by the inflow of the nature of Father consciousness, and no healing would take place. Now, I remember that in the Bible, that was specifically when he returned to Nazareth, he couldn't perform miracles there because everybody there knew him. Like, hey, that's Jesus. That's Joseph's son. That's I know his brother. I know, and he quickly left his hometown because they didn't have faith. And he said he was truly amazed by his hometown's lack of faith. So there's a two-way street here. The person that needs to be healed has to believe that they can be healed, and the person healing has to believe that the Father consciousness will work through them. It takes two to tango here, basically. So if you're scoffing at it, it's not going to happen. So it's an interesting little conundrum, because I think most people wouldn't believe that they're going to get healed. And the only reason they believed this guy was probably because, like you guys were saying, they were desperate. There was guys with leprosy. They couldn't see at all. They had no hearing. They got nothing to lose. My kid's dying. I listen, if my kid was sick, I'll take whatever help I could get, right? But you need to actually believe that Jesus is going to do this for you. And it seems like only people that were in dire straits, about to die or about to lose a loved one, were the ones willing to say, hey, man, I believe you, you know? And one guy was struggling, and he said, I believe you. I pray that you help me with my unbelief. That's in the Bible. I know. We just read that at church not that long ago. So I pray for you to help me with my unbelief. So, that's a big part of Jesus's miracles, where the people receiving them had to believe they were going to receive it. And he had complete faith, Jesus. So there was no problem on his end.
So when you were talking about Jesus couldn't heal people in Nazareth, right?
Correct.
In AA, family members shouldn't sponsor like each other. Remember when you didn't answer when you were like, oh, could you sponsor me? Like, and I was like, I really shouldn't sponsor you.
Oh yeah.
You know?
Right.
But I kind of like drew that correlation between that, because everybody knew him there, and it was where his family was. And it's not that like he couldn't help them, but they may not be so susceptible to the answer, because he was, they have a past.
Yeah. Amen, dude. Wow. That's a great. Wow. That might be some of the secret to that AA, that you don't really know the people that you're talking to, and you're kind of buying into it, because it's true. If you know people for a long time and they had a great change, like me, like I have had a great change, and like, it's hard sometimes. Like I know that I'm fighting what other people thought of me before this year, not you guys, I pretty much, but other people in my family, like, they're not going to recognize this huge change in me the way that if I went to a stranger, like a lot of the people I met out in the world for the first time recently, they're kind of taken back by me a little bit, because they're meeting me for the first time and they think this is how I always was. So it is interesting. That's an interesting thing you said. I didn't realize that. Yeah.
I don't know why
he doesn't like that. Yeah, that's fascinating, but you could see what he's saying here, right? I mean,
yeah, it makes sense to me, like in that aspect. Like,
if Jesus was running around being Jesus at like 10 years old, it's like, this guy really, and it happens, and he's confirming that here. It's interesting. Let's see, where was I? They had to have faith and expectancy of healing. This type of negative consciousness would not be influenced by the inflow of the nature of the Father consciousness, and no healing would take place. I also realized that the healing work done by the creative Father consciousness was really love made visible on earth. I realized that out of universal consciousness had come all the substance of the universe, and gave thanks. I realized that the Father creative consciousness was the worker, and that it was eternal and infinite, and nothing except the human mind could stop it from doing its work. Isn't that interesting? So the human mind is the only thing that could stop the Father from doing its work. That's that free will, I guess, like we were taught.
Yeah.
Right? Because if we don't, wow.
You must use your free will to seek the Father to reap the benefits of it.
Yeah. So this is explaining how he did his miracles that I kind of just stopped in the middle of. I probably shouldn't have did that, but you get the idea. You can read it yourself later, whoever's watching. But this section here, page 25, is explaining the whole process of his miracles. Therefore, I rid my mind of any human feelings and thoughts, and I knew that I was a perfect channel of Father love, and knew that the perfect will of Father love would be accomplished in the person who needed healing. Last page.
Holy
We did it,
smoke.
guys. We did it. We fucking did it.
Coming into the third hour, there's 3 people.
There's 11 people on my screen, it says. Now, I know Getter, guys.
Me, you, and Dad.
Oh, us 3, right. Getter, I don't want to leave you guys out. I know we get over at least 1,000, sometimes 2,000 live viewers. So shout out to Getter. And everybody else on the other things. Thanks for staying with us. Thanks for finishing these letters with us. If you've been with us all the episodes, you guys are real troopers. I appreciate it. If you guys want us to go to letter 2, let us know, because I love doing this. I'll do all 9 if you guys want. But note this: I also knew that whatever in that person's consciousness had brought about his crippled or maimed or diseased condition had been erased in his body for the time being. The question was, would his normal consciousness bring about a return of the condition divinely erased from his body? Therefore, I said to the person who had received healing, go your way and sin no more. I want you to know and believe with all your hearts that my state of consciousness when on earth, described to you in the above paragraphs, is the state of consciousness to which you should also aspire with all your mind and heart. My experiences of enlightenment in the desert enabled me to achieve the Christ consciousness to a large extent whilst on earth. But you can follow in my steps if you have the will to do so, and I will surely be at hand to help you on your journey. You may feel my presence if you are sufficiently sensitive to do so. But if for some time you feel nothing, do not be cast down, because as you do the work of changing your consciousness, you can be absolutely certain you will be turning into my Christ consciousness, and I will be aware of all that is happening to you. That's reassuring, right?
Yes, yeah, it's very beautiful.
So as you're on this journey and you're overwhelmed and you're like, can I really have a Christ consciousness? Well, guess what? He's going to be backing us up, as he always backed me up my whole life, So he's right there with us. And that's the goal of these letters, guys, is for us to achieve Christ consciousness. Okay. Know that your purpose on earth is to ascend in spiritual consciousness until you transcend all the humanhood which presently holds you back, until eventually you too can control the elements and become a master. Realize too that when world consciousness is fully attuned to Father Creative Consciousness, all things inimical to the perfect well-being of man will disappear. There will be no more malaria-bearing mosquitoes, locusts to strip your crops, severe climatic conditions, infections, viruses, and everything else which presently cause problems for living things. You will live within a cloak of universal protection. When your own consciousness is perfectly attuned to and in harmony with Father love, then you too will be divinely protected and will become channels of creative design, growth, nutrition, and nourishment, protection, healing, regeneration, fulfillment of need, and law and order. Father love will be operational within your mind, heart, body, and your affairs. It will be operational in all those to whom you direct its power. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. And that's letter 1. I think Lenny joined the studio. Let me see what's going on. I guess he came in.
Oh, hold on. What happened? I lost.
There
sound.
he is. Okay. You there, Len?
Yeah, I'm here. That was something.
So we finished letter 1, man.
Look at that. We finally did it. I thought it was good that we worked through it so slowly. Got like 4 episodes out of 1 letter. And
4 episodes, pages. 1 letter, yeah. That's a big one. 1 is huge. A lot of things in there. So I love how he ended it with the goal of the whole thing, the whole journey, and that he's with us the whole way. And it's not heresy, man. if you're trying to walk the path of Jesus, and trying to understand, and you're trying to reach love and generosity, and there's nothing bad in these letters. That's why you got to read them and keep an open mind. And I think anons are the ones, you know, and you people and people that know the truth, and people on these websites like X, Getter, Rumble, and even YouTube's not striking me down. And I've seen a lot of great videos on YouTube. I've been pushing that Path to Nirvana channel. It's fantastic. This is the website down here, guys. If you want to go and look, they're all PDFs, and they also have YouTube videos of this, just a guy reading them. So if you're sitting in the car, you're driving to work, you want to start letter 2 ahead of us, or you want to go over letter 1 again, you could pop that in. You get the PDF, you get the YouTube video. There's even some extra stuff that isn't in the letters that was from the recorder. Yeah. And thank you so much for listening, whoever's out there. And, you know, don't be scared to leave comments. We love to get some interaction. We haven't really gotten a lot of interaction yet. Just you know, great job, or you enjoyed it, or you hated it, whatever it is. Give us some feedback. We really appreciate it. You know, and like and subscribe, right? I'm supposed to say that, I think.
Like and subscribe my channel.
Like and subscribe the channel.
Don't forget to smash that like button.
Mm-hmm.
That's funny.
Man, we got a late night tonight, guys. We really
yeah, man. What's up with some
burning
tunes,
the midnight
bro?
Do you guys want to just do some tunes since we finished?
Yeah, I'd like to introduce this one song.
All right.
I Took the Money by Mikey V Music.
All right. They took the money.
In light of all the fraud around, you know.
Let's see, is that even on my top anymore?
Speakers back.
Let me say. Let me try. Mikey V.
They took the money.
Let's see. They took the money. There it is.
My favorite one.
This is a good one. Actually, Lenv helped write this. He wrote it, and I mixed it. Let me see if I can get this up. See if I can handle this. What the heck? Oh, there you are. All right. And we lost him again, Lenny.
Get out of here.
Get the hell with it. Go get your, what was it? The hyper clarity? What's he going for? I don't know.
Yeah, the shine box.
Go get your shine box.
Little lies in the labor. They say, trust us, we are family. Promised every child one bright day. Ink still wet on the contract. Next thing you know, all the funds fade away. The money left us a dust. Drove big cars while they told us trust. They took the money, never looked back. Now we counting every coin that we still lack. They took the money, took the money. They took the money, never brought it back. Yeah. In the kitchen, light bill late, but she still prays strong. Meanwhile, suits drink go from a bottle, laughing in a language we've been broke too long. We standing in line for a promise. We standing in line for a money, left us a dust. Drove big cars while they told us trust. They took the money, never looked back. Now we counting every coin that we still lack. They took the money, took the money. They took the money, never brought it back. Yeah. But your soul feels small. Where the funds gone missing? Echo down the corridor, bounce off the wall. Hey, we ain't begging for a favor. We just asking where the river run dry. Follow every crooked footprint, right back to your suit and tie.
You probably hear the beautiful sound of construction to the back. You hear that sound? Oh, that's music to my ears. I love that sound. Other people don't like it. I love it, Josh. I think when I hear that sound, it reminds me of money. I think when I hear that sound, it reminds me of money.
You probably hear that racket in the back. Somebody sighs while they roll their eyes. 'Cause it's a headache, but it tilts my head. Let that hammer hit every smack on the slab sounds rich. They hear noise, I hear plans, blueprints banging in my hands. Do you hear that sound? Oh, that's music to my ears. Every drill, every pound, yeah, singing in my ears. Other people hate it. I'm smiling ear to ear, 'cause when I hear that sound, I hear money, money, money in my ear. Yellow vest blow in the morning dust. Backup beeps keep time while they rush. Cranes swing high like a chorus line. Each steel beam sliding right on time. They hear stress, I hear chance, while it's stacking in my bank. Like that brick, brick, brick. Tick, tick, tick of the clock. Let the wheels all spark like I hit the jackpot. Every cut, every lift, that's the sound I love to hear. Hear that sound, oh, that's music to my ears. Every drill, every pound, yeah, singing in my ears. Other people hate it, hey, hey, I'm smiling ear to ear, 'cause when I hear that sound, I hear money, 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 money in my ear.
Hit him with the Ukraine and the membrane.
I was gonna say, what do you want to play now? Ukraine? I was looking at Weeping Roses. Remember we wrote that one? That was a good one. All right, let me see. Ukraine in the main areas. I got. Nice. I don't think I heard this one yet.
Zelensky wearing high heels. Wanna tell me where he's getting all these deals? Spent tax money all of my days, and they're giving it away, give it away, give it away now. Give it away now. Give it away. Give it away now. Yeah, yeah. Ukraine on the brain. Ukraine on the brain. Ukraine in the membrane. Ukraine in the membrane. Hey, you know, working man's a sucker. Sonny was right. Been working my whole life. What they making one night? Taxation with no representation. Climbing their ladders with geriatric masturbation. Blackmail, extortion, child trafficking, abortion. Monetizing lies, closing my eyes. But the people are on the rise. Better run back to the shadows from where you came before justice falls down like rain.
This song rocks, man. Wow, dude. I didn't hear your remix of that.
That was dope.
That was wow. That was a long time ago. That rap was me, right? That was off the rip in your basement a long time ago when the Ukraine stuff came out.
My thing cut out, Mikey.
What happened? You can't hear me?
Can't hear you.
Can't hear me. Oh, I should be coming through. I'm not on the. I don't know why. I don't know. Let me see. Testing. It says it's green over here. It says it's coming through. All right, so we'll wrap it up. Follow us. We're gonna do Sunday nights, and Thursday nights, right? So you tune in then. And I don't know what happened to Lenny, but say goodbye, Lenny. No, don't want to say goodbye. All right. We'll go out to Nardo's song, and we'll see you guys next time.
Again, coffee spilled on my only clean shirt, man. Sun's too bright, but I'm half asleep. Stumble through the rhythm of the street. Check my phone, got a message read. Don't be late, it's already said. Tie my shoes while I'm out the door. Same old song, but I've heard it before. Step to the left, step to the right. Catch that beat, everything's alright. Little bit wrong, little bit right. Still gonna dance through the day and just another day in the life. Oh yeah, skanking through the trouble, don't care. Got that upstroke feel in the air. Let it bounce, let it rhythm hits on the offbeat time. Woo! Boss man talking, but I drift away, thinking about the band gonna play tonight. Clock hands moving way too slow, but my head's in a different show. Lunch break walk with a swinging step, hear that rhythm, yeah, it ain't left yet. City noise got a ska backbeat, turn the whole block to a dance floor street. Lean with the groove, don't you fight, every little thing gonna line up right. Wrong or right, day or night, we keep it moving in black and watch another day in the life. Oh yeah, skanking through the trouble, don't care. Got that upstroke feel in the air. Let it bounce, let it take me there. Just another day in the life. Alright, sun go down, but the moon stay bright. Every little thing gonna be just fine when the rhythm hits on the offbeat time. Turn it up, let it fill the air. Every step got a groove to share. Feel that bounce everywhere. Just